everybody. Welcome
We're
back to
doing
Wednesday
this.
night. Yes,
We
it's
did
there.
it.
It's there.
Oh yeah. Hey, welcome to High Shelf Gaming. We're going to be doing some Brindlewood Bay tonight, which is, all of us as marvelous mavens, all about the town of Brindlewood, trying to solve some mysteries, some murders. We're in the middle of Dad Overboard right now. Before we get into all of that, and I hand it back over to Mike. Welcome to High Shelf Gaming. This is a channel where we play role-playing games with each other, and we've got our kind of usual suspects. Of course, myself. Next to me is Mike, who is running our game tonight, and then joining us as a special guest, or I guess you're not even a special guest. You're just in the campaign, Andy. Welcome.
I guess I'm just here. Yeah,
you're here. You're part of the crew now. We
You're
were
not
just talking about
special.
that about how you, as a member of the crew, you will eventually be promoted to GM.
Of a long-term campaign.
Right.
yes.
Right. Yep. Then there's
I've
guest
already-
GM for charity events.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, welcome, Nefarious. This is really great to have you back. And
I'm happy to be here.
yeah.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Right. So, let's see here. Other announcements, things that we're up to. I think Friday night is a maybe on Mass Effect. Mass Effect is, we normally play Mass Effect on Friday nights, every other Friday. This Friday would be the normal night for Mass Effect, but some stuff is going on. The GM might not be available. We're kind of figuring that one out. However, on Saturday, we're going to be playing Aegon, run by
Yay.
Ethan.
New Island.
New Island. Yes.
Strife.
I was a bad player and I had to postpone this for a week, so I'm really excited about the next island, and getting to see that all unfold and participate as a glorious hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those things. Yeah.
As you did.
Yeah. And then Monday is going to be we're going to be playing some Shadowrun, run by Katrina.
We are. I'm very excited and nervous to run the game. I think everyone has made characters, which has been a very interesting process for everyone.
Oh yeah.
Have we like doomed ourselves there, or like just like? Gonna be
No,
okay?
but I will say that some people took exactly what I thought they were going to take as their kind of archetype.
We were working on those the other night, and when Rich got to he got past skills and was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to have build points left." That was the moment I was like, "This is peak Shadowrun. He's doing it right. He's doing it right."
Mhm.
You spend everything and realize, oh, I need more stuff.
Or it was like,
Let
Let me go back some of these points back out.
It
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, you can only spend 200 on attributes." He's like, "Oh, I got to change some stuff."
Yeah.
I will say I caught myself, David, you'd be so proud, because I almost said, yeah, you see it's in red because it's over,
Yeah.
but I didn't say those words.
Good job
Because I
to
remembered.
Not tell the colorblind guy to go look for the red stuff.
But
What a
yeah,
kerfuffle.
Casey
Indeed.
was the same way with too many build points.
Right.
Or
He was like that with Cyberpunk too. That kid,
All the
you
things.
got to rein him in. You got to rein
all
him
the
in,
things.
because he will spend all the points, and he'll be like, wait, I can't have max points everywhere. What kind of game is this? I can't be amazing at everything.
But yeah, so we'll have our
Shenanigans.
first game.
That's what you
Monday
play
night.
Fate. That's what you play Fate for. You don't play those
Yeah.
crunchy cyberpunk and
Just play
Shadowrun
Amber.
games.
Just play Amber. Can you convince the GM you can do it? Play Amber. That's what he needs. He needs Amber.
Oh, for sure. That'd be
It's all fiat. There's no dice. Just make it up.
just make it up as you go.
That's right. There's not
I
even
mean, just
Rochambeau.
improv.
Yeah, it's just like
improv.
it's just like, do you convince the GM your character can do this thing? Great, you've done the thing. That's Amber. There's a big thick book for it and everything. Anyways,
Why is there a big thick book for it? If it's
yeah, it's about
a
the
role playing
world.
game. It's just that it's diceless, and that means
Yeah, and then there's the pure world, and then there's the worlds of chaos, and you're somewhere. Anyways, it's a crazy game.
But what color is the player's energy?
Right.
no.
Haha.
No.
And with that, Mike, I'm handed to you. Bring us into Brindlewood Bay. our marvelous mavens need to solve some mysteries.
Do it.
Yes, Brindlewood Bay, a small tourist town on Cape Cod, where all of these older women have now settled in their retirement years, and they are all fans of these series of mystery novels, and they have their book club, the Murder Mavens Book Club, that meets above candlelight books, talking about stuff. But last time, as you were having your meeting, Sheriff Dalrymple stopped by to tell you that Albert Krause had washed up dead in the bay. His family was still on the boat. He was a millionaire, and he expressed that he was concerned. He felt that something ungood was afoot in terms of Albert's death. The family claimed, nope, he got drunk and fell overboard. That's it. That's the end of it. Haha, let us inherit the money already. And he asked you all to take a look into things.
And we found a couple of clues. We found that he was in a lot of debt, like an unsettlingly large amount of debt.
Yes, you received a clue that was an attempt to collect a very large debt, I believe from like international holding company or something like that. There was an expensive diamond earring, its mate missing, in the pocket of his jacket when you examined his body, which was being kept, in like the totally secure space that you would keep a body in at the back of the fish market. You found a scrap of paper with a sequence of numbers written on it. And you had found out about a taboo love affair that Albert had while he was working internationally, while Etienne Beauregard had been working in the corporate world as an assistant to Albert. Right. That was how he was associated with the Krause family and why he was taking care of the body. You also, not attached to the mystery, but you also found 2 void clues, that sometimes there are people with strange tattoos that seem to shift position when you look at them, and a fish with strange purple ooze seeping from its beady black eyes.
Both incredibly unsettling and
totally normal.
Absolutely. Currently unattached to anything, or we will figure it out later, I'm sure.
Exactly the kind of thing you find on a Saturday evening in Brindlewood Bay. But yeah, you had gone by... you had seen when they were wheeling out what turned out to be the body of their butler from the marina, and had tried taking a look there. But you hadn't been into the marina and stuff like that. But Sheriff Dalrymple was there, and so was Dr. Bob, the one doctor in town who is also the sometime medical examiner, who is very squeamish about dead bodies and lots of blood. Solid work.
Poor career choice.
If I'm going to have a player,
doctor is my favorite stereotype about or favorite trope on TV is the squeamish doctor. Or just people who are inappropriately squeamish. Like Bob Odenkirk's character from Fargo season 1. It's one of my faves. You're just like, oh.
It's good. It's very convenient for when you want to get a look at the body if they're distracted by how disgusted they are with the body.
Right.
It does help, yeah.
So one of the things that I was supposed to be looking up from last time that I totally did, and I'm not scrolling through things trying to look at stuff now, was I wanted to walk through how the crowns on the character sheet worked.
Right.
Void clues. Sorry, I know I have...
Crown of the Void, Crown of the Queen.
Yes. No, I don't want to change the glyphs. Overview. No. Character sheet. Here we go. Putting on a crown.
While you're looking that up, I don't know if y'all can hear it, but my wife is singing Yesterday to my kiddo. And it's very sweet.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment.
It's like one of his favorite night songs, and so I don't know if y'all can hear it, but it's pretty awesome.
Just a little bit. It is pretty awesome.
So while you're looking that up, Mike, I think to level set a little bit, I think Francis Keschner, my maven. I'm with Irene, I believe, still, right? We just kind of
Yes,
bamboozled the sheriff and medical examiner so
we
that you
did.
so that you could
You
get
had
an
a
extra peek at this body of the butler.
Yes, I don't think we turned. I think the facts that we turned up. We got the numbers was one clue. The numbers on the piece of paper that fell out of the butler's hand. And the other thing that we turned up, which was what I was looking for, was that the butler was not struck by a weapon, but actually did fall off the boat, which meant it wasn't overtly murder, but it
Right.
probably still was murder. But it could still be an accident, so we didn't rule anything out yet.
Yeah, because there was like an impression of like whatever part of the boat was that he struck on the way down. Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was the
he struck one of the
piling.
pilings on the dock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yes. So I did find what I was looking for, and the crowns on the character sheet. What that is after you've made a move and we've already narrated the outcome, you can put on a crown to change the outcome after the fact.
Oh.
So if you do something and fail, you can say, "Oh, I don't want to, go careening off the cliff. I put on a crown," right? And it will shift it one tick up the kind of scale of success that the game uses, right?
Oh, neat.
So a miss becomes a partial hit becomes a hit, and a hit becomes like a crit.
Okay. And do the crowns have some sort of negative flashback?
There are, I think once you mark them, you don't get to unmark them. So
Okay.
like you can only do it X number of times. You'll have to have a scene later that's like dictated by, this crown. You have to have a flashback about some happy moment with your former partner. And this crown, like you see into the depths of the void and it stares into your soul and you have some sort of reckoning. So 6 one, half a dozen of the other.
Sweet.
Depending on which one you choose. I know that the crown of the void ones you do have to take in order. But the crown of the queen ones, you can pick them in whatever sequence you want.
Neat.
You're like, oh, I'm fine with doing this scene. But like crown of the void, tick, 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 from the top to the bottom. And when you reach the last one, that's when the dark space is seeped into your brain and you stop working as a character.
Got it.
Yeah,
So that's
little
your real
things.
hit points. The crown of the void is really your hit points in the game. That once you run out of
Pretty
them,
much. Yeah, it's sort of the you take so many traumas you can't be a scoundrel anymore in Blades, right?
Right.
Like, yeah.
Love it.
So, yes, but last time it was probably getting to be around sundown when we were hanging out by the entrance to the marina. The Sheriff Dalrymple would say that, like, yeah, the butler here, Andrew Heischel, fell and struck his head, and died as they were here in the marina when they were coming in to like. There's like a fancy restaurant in the marina, and there's also like the long dock where like you can fuel up your boat at the end of it, kind of deal. And there's like the interior docks where people like who have shallower boats dock.
Yeah.
But the actual Krause family's ship is like out in the bay, and they use a dinghy to come in to the marina. So that's what was going on. They came in on the dinghy and they said that he fell out and like struck his head on the piling, and that's how he's going into the back of the like red and white painted like an ambulance, but it's like a PT cruiser. Like, yeah. So there are start of session things to do here before we totally kick off. So mystery recap. Resolve cliffhangers. We don't really have a resolution to any of our cliffhangers because we are still mid figuring that out.
I'm so glad we solved that mystery. That was fun. Back to our
Yes.
book
club. We do need to choose end of session XP triggers. Right. So the first one is always selected, and then you get to pick 2 for yourself at the beginning of each section.
I thought we did that.
You did them for last
Oh,
session, but you can change
sorry,
them
do it
for
every
this
we have to
session.
pick new ones. My apologies. Of course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave mine the same.
I was
Nah.
just thinking very similar because I haven't really gotten out the mindset. I think I'm still going to secretly undermine the authority of a local official because that is a constant state for my character.
I think I'm in the same boat. That's such a good one.
But I think I will. I think I'm going to try to dote on someone at some point.
Why are you reading my mind? Now I have to pick something else.
Yeah.
I never got to share my wisdom with a young person, so that's what I keep trying.
Share a memory of a late family member and behave like a woman half mage.
I think I'm going to show that I still got it.
Solid choices. Also a solid choice.
Yeah, so I'll do secretly undermine the authority of a local official and show someone that I still got it. Whatever that means.
It.
It with a lip bite. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I think for right now, like we'll just kind of try to pick up around where we're at, where
That
it's
sounds good.
it's dusk and Dr. Bob puts the body in the back of the PT Cruiser, kind of like he says, take a second, like steel himself, like it's okay. It's gonna stay back there. It's strapped down. It's not gonna come flying out at the stop sign like it did last time. It's gonna be okay. Gonna be okay. It's like you can just hear him like under his breath, gonna be okay, over and over as he like goes up and gets the car, and, like starts it and leaves. Like, otherwise, yeah, we're here on the edge of kind of like the strip, and the beach, and where it meets like the marina entrance, as the sun is setting, the sky is getting multicolored, and like all those tourist kids are gonna start getting up to no good.
That's right.
I assume by this point, I think we've all reconvened. I think we had nearly all reconvened at that point.
Yeah, I think you were all like coming together right at the end of last session. Yeah.
So we will, I think, just convey the sort of information that we found. Like, I assume we would exchange all the information we've seen within reason. I don't know if we would explicitly mention, I guess that would Francis explicitly mention I guess that we didn't experience anything weird enough to be like, ooh, and there were these cultists with tattoos.
Yeah, I think that Francis has never seen anything like that before, right? And so Francis is probably going to assume that that was something left over from the 70s, and Francis is not going to mention that, the LSD was coming back. So she's just going to hold on to that one until it becomes apparent that that's actually useful information for others to know. Just bear that as shame is what she's gonna do.
Those acid flashbacks get you every time.
They really do.
Opal, however, is going to inform you, Francis, that you really need to avoid the fishmongers because he just has some of the weirdest fish. Like it must be old or something. They're very oozy and black. You should stay away from that.
In black, is that some kind of foreigner thing or?
No, he said they got him from the local bay, so you should avoid that. I know you said you wanted to get some fish, but maybe you should just go for crab or lobster tonight.
I appreciate the warning. Crab it is.
Get those good crab cakes.
That's right.
I think Mavis is just kind of like looking at Opal as she talks, like, yeah, sure, that's exactly. That's an appropriate course of action. Yeah, that's great. And like, good job, Opal. Yeah, avoid the fish. That's the only thing wrong there. Just avoid the fish.
The fish is old. Got it.
The completely fake fishmonger is not a concern, and the
Yeah, nothing to worry about with the purple ooze. I'm sure that's, algae.
She brought it up. She said, just be careful.
Yeah. Yeah. Be
Definitely.
careful. It's kind of like, okay, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
And what did you
Priorities.
guys, did you find anything important?
Well, we found oh yes, so I'll pull out the slip of paper to show. Found near where the body was discovered is this letterhead claiming to say that our old deceased gentleman was in debt to someone overseas for quite a bit of money.
Oh,
Whatever that shall mean, can't draw too many conclusions yet.
overseas, huh?
Yeah, it seems our Mr. Krause here was underwater in more than one way.
Whippy. I like it.
Oh, well done. I got that.
Do you know what the company was? Was it anything
Don't
specific?
remember I don't remember if we got any specific name. I think it was just kind of generic.
Yeah,
Generic.
it was
Generic. It was debt
I mean, is it
collectors,
like-
GmbH.
Is the
Yeah.
European, what is it?
It was a
European
joke that
term-
went on for
term.
a while.
yeah.
Yeah.
Euro debt.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if it was more of like a European generic business or like Chinese generic business, because I feel like those do business in significantly different ways. So it's good to know.
Well, also, if we're talking about overseas, the victim had a mistress overseas. So, on his travels.
Don't call it Bangkok for nothing.
It was in the east then. Mr.
The
Krause
affair,
was,
yeah.
was
Yeah.
I think it was
traveled
Thailand.
both.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, I
Mr.
have
Krause
Thai.
traveled
Mhm.
all the hemispheres then.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, and one other thing, and I will reach in and pull out the second piece of paper because I just have all my pieces of paper carefully hidden away. And this one is the slightly more damp piece of paper with the sequence of odd numbers on it that fell out of the butler's hand when he was put upon the gurney.
Well, what's happened to the butler?
Oh, that was him. And I will point at the departing van. He seems to have taken a tumble onto one of the pilings.
It's like a black PT Cruiser that says like morgue.
Well, but there isn't a more.
It's not
So I don't-
morgue. It's like, Dr. Bob's, medical facility.
Dr. Blob's morgul van.
It's probably like you see it like they point and it's like it's still at the stop sign, and it's at the stop sign like longer than you need to stop for. And it's just Dr. Bob white knuckle on the steering wheel, like.
You can see him just working through it, like, and everybody's just quietly waiting. Like, it's Dr. Bob. We just all got to give him time, because when he's ready to leave the stop sign, none of us want to be in the middle of the stop sign. So we're all
Until there's one like Audi or Volvo or Audi or something like that with like Connecticut plates behind him that does eventually like meep meep, like
This town's going to hell in a handbasket.
Did he get a cramp while swimming?
No.
I had this friend, or my cousin Billy. He ate a whole bunch of cake and then went swimming in the lake, and he got the worst cramp of his life that day and almost drowned in the lake. Is that what happened to the poor man?
Did he? Well, he's dead, so I think there's at least one difference between those stories.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
Also, I'm
Mr.
fairly certain, based on the depth of the piling impact wound, I'm going to hazard a guess he's not a speed swimmer. It had a distinctly terminal velocity look to it. I suspect the type of impact you only get from traveling downwards rapidly.
It's interesting. How tall is their dinghy for him to have been traveling down so quick?
That is a good question. How
Is
green
there-
is my valley?
Is there a dinghy? Is that dinghy still attached to the pier?
Why, you'd have to go inspect inside the marina here, and maybe the dinghy is still there. Who knows?
That's
Is this
To
a
you
nighttime?
gals,
Is this a nighttime activity?
Yes, it is nighttime now. It is dusk is falling. There are tourists. There are fancy rich people tourists inside the marina doing marina things at like there's like the fancy restaurant with like an outside bar in there. And then outside here, like most people have left the beach, but there's still like some little fires that are like late teen type people hanging out there, and like you can hear like that clinking like the beer bottles you're not supposed to have on the beach, and like
They better clean that
people
up
starting to
before they
wander
leave.
around that are like it's a quaint little town, but it's not super well lit, right? Like it's
Frances,
getting
she
dark out.
takes out her little like flip pad and like jots down which campfire had the glass at it, just so she can make sure to let the sheriff know those
Yeah,
teens
I
are
think I
upset
think
they're
we
on the
had
beach.
there was like beach and then breakers and then marina, and like you probably do hear like a bottle that like gets hurled against like those rocks at the breakers and like shatters. Like
Oh man.
it's
Yep.
like,
Well, when
those
we
those
meet with
kids,
Mr.
those ne'er do well kids are
Dalrymple
just
again,
starting to get up to no good.
just
do,
nothing gets my craw like teens and their glass bottles on the breaker rocks.
I know it may be a bit late this evening, but do you gals think we should track down those family members at some point and have a chat with them?
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
A good old
It may be
job
a bit,
sesh.
maybe a bit late to do that tonight, but maybe in the morning.
Yes. We might, while we're here, we might as well maybe take a look around, see if we can get an eye on this dinghy that may have come from the regal lady.
I suppose I could do another. One moment, and she like produces a flask and takes a quick nip, and so okay, all ready now.
All right. Now, I don't know anything about sailing, but I'm going to assume that dinghies will contain some information on the outside, which would give us a clue as to the correct one. Do we have any sailors in the chat?
Sailors,
Only in my
no.
dreams.
How do
Sailors
My
I
dad
figure
used
that
my dad used to be a sailboat salesman though, so I spent time around the docks.
Wow.
Lived in
Awesome.
Annapolis, sailing capital of the East Coast.
Fancy.
So
Yeah.
that's
A salesman.
yes.
So I will, in that case, I'm just going to assume that I'll know what I'm looking for with my background. Obviously, being a Cold War spy means you know what dinghies look like. So I think I'm going to, because it took me a little while to get into the rolling mood last time. I think I'm going to take a crack at it now. Let's see if we can track down this dinghy. And I know we're going to be outside at night, and so it's a little suspicious, but we're going to try to not be too suspicious.
Okay.
Just 4 women on a dock looking for a boat. Not suspicious at all.
Well, this is you're by. I mean, this is the marina, right? There are people here who are here for the summer. They're here for whatever reasons. They've come in on dinghies from their boats. There are people from town who are here for the restaurant.
We look
Right.
like the clientele of the marina.
Exactly.
You might not look like the like fancy like I have my ascot, my little sailor cap, and like got the marina
I
logo
have enough
embroidered on
turquoise
my
jewelry.
blazer and stuff.
To fill a safety deposit box.
It's
I
not
am high
quite the
class as it
marina
gets.
look, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
Turquoise
all
jewelry
my,
goes with
I've got all
everything.
my high art fashion airs that I've put on today with my big black smock. You know, so she looks like she was invited to some party at some point. Maybe
Like
she's
40
broken out of that
years
party and is
ago, but-
wandering around.
I always look like I belong everywhere, and if you don't think I do, you're wrong. So
Yeah.
I'm going to march down the marina and I'm going to find that dinghy. There will probably be one
so does
that will somehow relate to the regal lady that I can tell.
does coming through the marina and like trying to get around and stuff like that count as doing something risky or facing something you fear? because we got a whole special night move for like getting around and doing stuff to get to the point where we can start to
I will
inspect or
say
talk to
this.
people.
So it just went to dusk. How busy is the marina?
Um, there are people on the docks. There's more people out when
Okay.
you reach farther out where like the restaurant is, and like there are boats coming
Okay.
and going out at the the
Hmm.
fuel dock. So it's not abandoned. It is
Okay.
certainly less
I
occupied than the beach ever was, but there are
I
people
don't
around.
think I don't think the first leg of our boat search, the walk to the end of marina, I don't think that one's risky at all. But we are going to be walking right by that that restaurant and very clearly not going in. So we are going to look a little suspicious, especially if we can find the crime scene. So it
Unless,
will be a little suspicious if we look at each piling along the way.
so I feel like anything can be risky in Murder She Wrote because you never know when some dude with like, or some unidentified person wearing all black with black gloves is going to like throw a brick or something from off camera. So I mean, it could always happen.
There
Let's
might
not
be,
discount what happens at night.
I was going to say, I know the restaurant's fancy. There might be a stag do going on there. So there's going to be a lot of rowdy young men itching for some rowdy action, maybe some tussles and whatnot. And they might be looking to,
You know what?
maybe
You know
one
what?
of them is very ageist.
You know what Francis is terrified of? Ending up in the water at night. That's scary. I don't want to be there.
That's fair. That is totally reasonable. Yeah.
Valid, yeah.
I have filled my quotient of talking to people today, so my fear is having to talk to one more idiot.
Yep.
But I'm willing to say that we would walk casually to the point where we are past
Walk
the
with
restaurant,
purpose.
and then at that point we then start looking suspicious because we're looking for boats and bloody
Okay.
pilings.
At what
So
point do I need to pull my extra pair of hose out of my purse for like masks? Like, that's my question. Because
You
I
have
think
to
that's when it
crack
gets
open the
risky.
plastic egg and take them out, and then
Mavis, there are already enough hoes in this group. We're good. So I'm gonna walk down. I will happily make a nighttime roll. We'll make it risky. We'll get past the restaurant, and then I'm looking for a dinghy. I'm gonna focus. I'm looking for the dinghy that says the Regal Lady's dinghy on it. Maybe the Regal Princess, something vaguely related and in theme. Probably with some kind of international calling card on the outside to show that it travels between the United States and Europe. And then I'm going to specifically look for the pylons because I'm looking for pilings, looking for a bloody piling. And we also want to see how tall the dinghy is, so we know whether he was pushed and then fell, or somebody picked him up and suplexed him onto a piling.
Suplex.
Do we all make this night move, or is it just like one for the group?
I think it's just one for the group. Like there's not a lot of like group moves in this game. So name what you're afraid will happen if you fail or lose your nerve.
Oh, well, if we fail, then I'm worried that we are going to run into the family before we get a chance to talk to them. Because I think if the family sees us snooping before we get a chat, we're probably going to lose our ability to talk with them nicely, because they're instantly going to be suspicious of us.
Okay.
I imagine they're the type to get angry very easily and uppity.
Yeah.
Very
The next
defensive.
the next step in the move
sheriff
is
on us.
the next step in the move is the keeper will tell you how it is worse than you fear. Yeah, they would absolutely call the sheriff on you. They would like grab whatever there is for like marina security. Like you would be your days of like, oh, help me find out some information for the sheriff would become very, very complicated, right? Like if that was
We'd get a brick thrown at us. All right.
Yeah.
Is there, I guess this, would you say this one was a reasonable, or
I was actually
I
just
don't
trying to
think
look at it.
I was going to say I don't think I can swing composure. Composure is my
Oh,
good
yeah.
one, but I don't think I can. I don't think I can swing that one too much.
Is it composure? Does that count for like acting like you belong somewhere where you clearly do not?
I feel like one of them might actually just say that.
Might be
Requires a
presence.
steady hand, a calm disposition, or intense concentration, or if they're trying to avoid a fear-based reaction. Presence is to charm someone, intimidate someone, or capture someone's imagination. I think composure sounds more like it's
Okay.
we're
If I can
trying to
swing
navigate the
composure,
way and stuff. Yeah,
I will
Breaking
absolutely
an
take that.
energy.
That is my skill.
yeah. It's like, how do we get past this gate that says, you need to have the marina swipe card to get in and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'll pick them up. All right. So 2d6 plus 2.
One hairpin length here, and yeah.
Only somebody had a set of tools that were gifted to them that could function as lockpicks.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Ooh.
You do your thing and then I'll do mine.
What? Our dice have been good to us so far, and that makes me worried. I rolled a natural 11 plus 2, so that puts me at a 13.
Yes.
I'm
So you do
avoiding
what you
it.
intended, and you hold steady. Describe what it looks like.
It's we slip past. Once we're past, we start getting past, and I'm like, ooh, there's some people around here looking around. And then those rowdy stag do boys. They're not getting violent, luckily, because that would just attract security attention, but they are getting loud and singing. And they're doing a medley of popular songs, which, although not necessarily drawing a crowd positively, certainly draws attention. So we slip past, and then I do see it's out of the way. Like it's definitely, it looks a little suspicious to me, the way it's kind of deliberately in an inconvenient location. Like you'd think if you were rich, well-to-dos, there's definitely some closer spots they could have docked their dinghy at, but it is there. It is.
Yeah.
It does say the Regal Lady on it, too. There, as we get close, we can see it's definitely near some pilings. How much leeway do I have over what we see?
Yeah, the next one in there is that because it was over a 12, I'm supposed to tell you some extra benefit or advantage you receive. And I was going to give you an extra clue.
Oh, perfect.
Because as you're trying to make your way out here, you actually have to you cut along the side of the restaurant. And over there's actually a couple dumpsters so that as people come in on their dinghies and stuff, they can offload the trash from their boats. So you do find one that it is kind of back in that end by where the dinghy is from the Regal Lady. There's the end of a carpet, a rolled up carpet sticking out of one of these dumpsters. And you can see that you're like, oh, it's unusual for somebody to just ditch a carpet in here. And then if you tug on it, it pulls out a little bit part of the way, and you can see that blood has soaked through it.
Oh, this is interesting.
It's a horrible color for a rug.
What a find.
What is the clue here? Just so I can type it down.
A blood-soaked rug.
Okay, cool.
What size rug are we talking? Are we talking sort of
it's
just
maybe like a 3x5. It's something fairly smallish because the interior of a boat, even though they have a big boat, the interior isn't super roomy. Rug. Yeah, it's like a little throw rug. It probably still has adhesive pads under the corner to try to keep it from sliding around when the boat would move.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like a little ornamental patterned rug.
Yeah.
Just be out there.
Okay. I think we would find that the dinghy itself, is not overly tall compared to the pilings around, which would mean that he would have to fall with some force in order to kind of make that impact as well while we were over there. think that's just kind of natural part of it. Kind of hammering home the idea, or rather piling home the idea that
That he was hammered.
that he was hammered, that he was dropped in a significant fashion.
Yeah, and I think as you pass out there, the dinghy is there. Like you said, it's not super tall, but it's tied off. It's tied amongst dinghies over there. If you want to go, I assume someone is going to go over there and inspect it. You can do that.
Well,
That's fine. The restaurant has like a wall where it's windows that like open up so that it's like open air along one side, so you can hear all the guys singing through that. I think at one of the outskirt tables, trying to be away from where those guys are. And I think Ethan, your character, would recognize her. Is Emily Krause, the youngest daughter? You subbed for her at some point, so like of course you recognize her. They're like kind of actively trying to ignore all the guys who are singing and just like face down into a phone.
Okay, and this is inside the restaurant?
It's like one big wall that faces out towards the bay is basically all open air.
Gotcha.
And she's
okay.
like kind of like on the corner of that space where it's under an awning, but it's outdoors. It's not like it's in the restaurant, but it's outdoors.
For alcohol purposes, she's not outside of the restaurant, but she is.
Yeah,
she's sitting outside. Yeah,
they're pretty lax about like the whole dock area anyway.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go talk to her because
Okay.
I'm an old lady, and old ladies can strike up a conversation with anybody and it not be unexpected.
Cool.
This dumpster's relatively out of the way, right? Just for my future reference.
What was the question?
The dumpster's relatively out of the way.
It's kind of like it's by like the back corner. Like there's like
okay.
That wall. It's like towards the back of the building, but it's still like got the docks and then the dinghies that raft up to that dock there. So they can get on the dinghy, ditch their trash, and then go to the restaurant.
Okay, that makes sense.
Get everything done at once.
and we saw the piling where he died. Do we see the piling that he struck?
You see a piling where like the wood is still wet. Like most of them are dry, and like one of them is like clearly been like there's probably like a coiled hose by it. So, like they were trying to clean it.
You said there was a blood stain on this rug that we found.
Yes.
Right? Can we look further into that rug? Like, can we pull it out of the trash?
You can. Yes.
Okay, because I want to see like what type of blood spatter it is.
So the thing I'll say there is that if you're going to meddle and inspect the stuff that's there, it's not so much that there's details from the rug that I can tell you. It's that the meddling move may give you other clues.
Then I would like to meddle and pull this out of the trash can, because it's just like working with the pigs when you really get your hands in and dirty on it. You just gotta just work with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta get rid of stuff by giving them to the pigs.
Yep.
If I'm understanding this game right, basically the kind of blood splatter that's going to be on that rug is whatever kind works for our correct theory. Is that sort of how, like, once we theorize, if we get a hit, then like
the fact that you have found the rug at all means that you have one more clue to give you a bonus when it says we think we know the answer.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So we don't really
like there's no canonical solution to the mystery. There are just clues that give you a bonus, and then eventually you'll say, I think we figured it out. Here's how all the clues come into play. We roll and find out if that's right or not.
Irene is going to get on that dinghy. She's going to go on that dinghy.
Well, then I think I'm going to be a distraction and dig around in the trash.
Okay. So then it sounds like Mavis is going to talk to Emily Krause. Francis and Irene are both going to the dinghy. Yes.
Who wants that? I'm more than happy to go on the dinghy.
Oh, I'm breaking onto that dinghy. Yeah. If it's
Opal is just gonna get that evidence.
And and Opal is like, what's up with this rug? And then there's like, oh, this bag that happens to be next to it. I wonder if something's in there, right? Like, yeah.
Opal
I mean,
is
So
it's
Opal
really
is
Opal's
Opal is
just getting the rug.
legs up, kicking in the
No.
dumpster.
She's just pulling the rug out for evidence
orthopedic
later.
shoes flailing in the air. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, who wants to go
Dumpster.
first?
I say do Mavis, because Mavis called action way earlier.
Let's
Okay.
let's talk to this little this child. I'm sure she's like 25, but she's a child.
She is out of high school. Based on when you would have probably been her substitute, and it might have been like you were a sub for a while. That's why like you'd kind of recognize her, and she might have a chance of recognizing you.
Yeah,
I was like,
think,
yeah, you filled in for like a month or two or something like that,
yeah,
right?
I think that Mavis kind of did have that for a while. Like she wasn't really ready to retire, but didn't want to have like a full-time job. And so it was like, oh, this teacher's on sabbatical for a semester because, she just had a kid. And so it was like, okay, I'm here for the whole semester to teach English.
Cool.
Kind of deal. So it might be one of those situations.
Yeah, so she is sitting kind of at the outskirts tables there. She is face down into a very expensive, super modern phone. Like it's the iPhone whatever, where it's got like the 4 different cameras on the back.
Got the trypophobia cameras.
It's got the screen that's like that big on it. It's like I could use this to shoot movies. It's like, but and she's just face down into that. She does have a glass on the table in front of her, and a small plate, like she had like an appetizer or something like that she finished, that like it's still there.
Yep. Is she like alone at the table?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Mavis will sit down.
Yes. Presumed access. Such an old lady thing to do.
It really is.
I think after you do.
We're gonna sit here for a minute. You thought you were just gonna catch up on cats? No.
Yeah, you thought we were passing by in the grocery store? No, this is our new spot.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be here for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
This aisle is now like they just put up a do not enter sign, like there's been a spill because you're not getting by.
It's about to get messy.
Oh, you need something on the other side of the aisle? Go around, bud.
Yeah, you are sitting there for like a moment before like she kind of like stops and like looks up and kind of like realizes they're like, you're there. And like that furious, like she's got the not the haptics, but like the sounds turned on the phones, like the like of her like sending messages and stuff, like needs to like die down and echo out of the air before she'll be like, what are you? Hi, I was, and like maybe after a moment, like, wait, you look familiar, like yeah.
Yeah, I think Mavis will like recite a couple lines of like the Shakespeare play for that year of high school that she subbed. And I think we'll just do Hamlet because that's my favorite. And she'll say, Emily Krause, is that you? You were just the best Horatio I've ever had in a high school class. Inspiring, truly.
People have that dead-eyed stare for a minute, like, oh, like, I remember you. Yeah, you were. Sorry, Mike had something over the top of his mouth. You were. Is it Mrs. Bork? That's
No, I subbed for Mrs. Bork. I'm Mrs. Berkeley.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since when did you get old enough to drink? What is this?
She's yeah, it's like a coupe glass with like a lime wedge that's like still on the edge. It's like still got sort of you can definitely smell like rum and citrus. It's like, oh, it somebody else left that here, right? So it's like she kind of like slides a little farther away from her on the table. It's like, no, that's not on my side of the discarded plate. That was over here.
Am I to take this that she is not in fact old enough to drink?
Yeah, no, she should probably not actually have unrestricted access to, whatever was in that
Yeah,
glass.
sure. Yeah, I think maybe this will kind of be like, oh well, I heard about your father. He passed. Yesterday was it? It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, she seems not super broken up about it. She'd be like, yeah, it was a couple days ago. He got drunk and fell overboard. Um, Now, the sheriff is like being weird about it. He won't let us leave, and it's just I have all this stuff that I have to get done at home, and it's like, and like you hear her phone just like, like on the table, like just
Yeah,
over and over.
I think
And she kind of like
that.
peeking under the edge of it at it. So
Yeah, I think that's probably like most elderly women. That's probably a bit annoying for Mavis. Kind of like, what is this? This did not used to happen when two
yeah,
people were communicating. But she'll be like, yeah, I couldn't help but notice that you seem pretty busy. Yeah, have you taken over the business or something? What's going on?
um, I kind of want to have you roll the meddling move there, and then
Okay,
we can like try to
sweet.
figure it out from there. Because
There you go.
Sweet.
There you
That
go.
sounds good. That's
Meddling.
oh man, I'm feeling the powered by the apocalypse. I'm feeling it. That
So you sit
what
down at
what
the
am I
table.
rolling with?
Let's roll the dice and find out what happens.
So it is 2d6 plus relevant or appropriate ability.
Yeah, which one's
So
that?
it sounds like maybe presence. If you're trying to
Presence.
charm, intimidate, or capture someone's imagination.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I
Um,
feel like this is definitely charm. That is an 8 plus 0.
8. Okay. So on a 7 and 9, so it's a hit, but there's a complication. So
Which totally feels appropriate because this has not been the smoothest conversation.
yes, I think there is. She kind of like she keeps glancing at this stuff on her phone, and she keeps going into it, and then like eventually like you kind of do get to that part of the conversation, like what's you seem really preoccupied, what's going on. It's like, oh well, it's really weird, I don't know what's what, and something something. And eventually she will let on that someone has been sending her a bunch of medical documents, like PDFs of medical documents, and they're communicating with her through like some messenger app, so it's like anonymous. But
Who's
the
that?
doc, what was it?
I said who's that, but yeah.
From Whoville.
Yes. Yeah, but the documents are they're supposed to be of blood tests, and supposedly they show that Albert Krause is not her father.
Oh. First of all, that's the power of teaching. She would say that to this old woman. So what is that, like ransom blood test or what, blackmail blood test?
Documents that call into question the paternity of a child. Yeah, she's like, I just
Francis and I are en route to the boat, and I just pause for a second. I can't hear it, but my scandal sense is tingling.
Yes.
Yeah, so she'll let on about that. She's like, it's why I'm over here and not like with mom and the others. It's because I just am trying to figure out what's going on here. And in typical Murder She Wrote fashion, for no apparent visible reason, she just spills this to this older woman who just hangs out and talks to her. Yeah. Like, well, everything was fine, but my husband was adopted, and like, it's like, why are you? Why this?
I think Mavis will say, well, they always say that blood is thicker than water, but I think that it's more about the time you spend, right? It's about so none of that really
Dad
matters.
just drowned. You don't bring up water?
That'd be
You're not
that'd be lost
there.
on her.
You're in another room. That's
It does explain the density issue with why the body went down instead of
Right?
up.
Yeah.
Science.
But yeah, that's her little aphorism or whatever, or her challenge to an aphorism.
I think the complication will be that, like, her mom shows up.
Mm.
She's like, first off, she's like, who is this that you're talking to? Like, what's going on over here? And then it will be like she notices the coupe glass on the table, and she'll be like, we talked about this. You know that, and like just goes off on
no
her.
no
for the
yeah,
list of plays.
Mavis would be like, no, that's mine, I brought it over. Kind of try to cover for her, like I'm
Yeah,
the,
so
I'm the
like
cool
that
grandma.
that scene will probably, like, come back together or come to a close there, with like you trying to
Yeah.
cover for the daughter, unless,
Yeah.
and then
That's
And then
later
yeah, and
later
it'd
if you
be
want to do
followed.
another round through here and like try to talk to the parents, but like the mom is like unhappy with the scenario right now, so
Yeah, I
she
think
is not a busting directly into conversation state.
I think it pans away with Mavis being like, now didn't you have that really nice handwriting? I saw it on a couple permission slips, kind of deal. Like, it's just this is very distracting, and you're gonna probably be very disarmed by these weird things I'm saying, kind of deal. But yeah, that's
Let me just use my old lady
Pan
magic
away.
to hack your brain.
Yes.
Just disarm you.
That's how it
Brain
works, man.
hacking.
That's how it works. Cool. Yeah, so we're up to 6 clues so far. So do we want to have
How many do we
the boat
normally
people
need?
or the dumpster? So the way it works is the clues add on to your roll when we do the theorize move,
Okay.
right? And that's the, like, we have clues, we think this happened.
Right.
Do we roll the right? But that is plus your number of clues and minus the complexity of the mystery. So it's 2d6 minus 6, which is the complexity of Dad Overboard, plus the number of clues. So right now it is minus 6 and plus 6, so it's just whatever the 2d6 comes up with.
Okay.
But the scale for outcomes is the same as for all the other move rolls, right? 1 to 6 is a failure, 7 to 9 is partial, 10
So
to
we
12
might be
is
pretty
full.
close. We might be pretty close to trying to do a solve.
I think we're at a
Definitely
net
definitely
zero.
after, like, we have 3 more people who are actively looking at stuff,
Yeah.
like, then you will be in the positive in terms of having +3 on that roll, whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
Actively.
plus 3 on a roll is like
Assuming
enormous.
everybody
Awesome.
finds a clue. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mhm.
That's
It's like enormous for Powered by the Apocalypse, like plus 3. It's like you just broke the game.
It's crazy.
Um,
What's even going on?
So I was pulling out the rug to look at it further.
Okay.
And I suppose also to see if there was anything dumped with it. I
Okay.
guess.
Yeah.
That would be what I would like to do.
Okay. So yeah, you are meddling. You are here.
I am.
You found this one clue here already. Let's see if there's other clues in its near proximity. So we just need to figure out which ability you're using to meddle with. Is it involving strength, dexterity, and athleticism? Is it a steady helm and a calm disposition?
I think it's composure because I'm digging through trash. Like,
So yeah, one of the things for composure is intense concentration, which, like, okay, which bag is the right bag that's like here and it's from the same boat? Like,
right.
well, that's a cheap trash bag over there. That is certainly not them, right? And this one is like right next to it, and it's fancier bag, like it's,
yeah.
and
So
then
Michael
another one
Kors
is another one that's
retail
listed there for
bag.
composure is if they're trying to avoid a fear-based reaction, and I feel like trying to avoid being like, what did I just grab out of the dumpster? Like, that's
and
fair.
like totally
That's
a rat
composure.
jumps out. Like a rat jumps out of the dumpster when you start digging in there, and you gotta stay steady.
So I know that this is Opal's decision, but all of this is grossing me out real bad. So I'm just gonna roll
sorry.
my dice.
Okay.
That's a 9.
That's a 9. Okay. So that
Oh,
is a hit.
+1 is 10
Even better.
because I have a 1 in
Um,
composure. Okay.
Yes. So that is a full hit. You find a
Okay.
clue. So let's pick you out a clue here.
Ethan, are you writing down our clues?
I'm keeping track of them on my character sheet. Yes.
Okay. Then
There's
Uh,
also the Dad Overboard page under the mysteries in Legend Keeper. I've been adding them in there and updating your bonus from them. As you can find.
thank you.
Let's see.
Is that Cave Johnson as the picture?
Yes.
Okay. I just need to call that out because that's lovely. I love that.
Oh.
When life gives you lemons, you burn their house down.
Yeah.
I don't want your damn lemons.
You make exploding lemons. Yeah.
I'm Dave fucking Johnson.
God, dude.
Yeah, we lost the Geo.
That's
that
one of
game
the
was so
best
good.
monologues. It's one of the
Yes,
best
it really
monologues
is.
in gaming.
I think you do find like a half a sheet of paper that's been torn off. There is a bag that is definitely stuff from the Regal Lady, right? Like there are, other things like junk mail addressed to the Krauses that they picked up at their last mail drop location, stuff like that. And in there, you do find like the bottom half of a torn off page that are instructions about removing David Krause from a will.
David Krause is the one of
Is
the
the
kids,
son.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the wife, there's an older daughter, the middle child is the son, that's David, and then there's a younger daughter, and that's Emily, who I still haven't got character names down. Ethan was just talking to. Mavis was just talking to.
Mavis.
Gotta scroll too far to get back up to that list. Like, okay,
David Krause is which? David Krause is the middle son or the eldest?
David Krause is the middle child.
And only son.
Yes.
And so it says pulling someone out of just taking the person out of the will?
Yeah, they are instructions to have him removed from a will.
Is it typed or a feminine or masculine handwriting?
Whatever we need it to be when we do the solve. Right? Is that the gig with this?
Okay. Okay. I'll put that in a side pouch to my big bag. And
so one of the white canvas ones with like the colored strap that like gets stitched down the side, canvas tote bags. Like, no. Sorry, just older women in New England. That's what I think of. That's just okay.
I'll also pull the rug out, careful not to touch like the blood smear, because and kind of hide it away for evidence. Yep. Cool. And then I'm gonna go. I'll end up joining Mavis, not Mavis, Ethan's character. Mavis.
Mavis, okay. Yes. Cool. Yep.
Yeah, if Mavis is probably like if the Krauses have vacated the table, just sitting there like still, and like has probably ordered something even though she was never seated. Just like, the waiter walks by and she was like, "Oh, let's have one of your house reds, please."
Can I have a Fresca? Yeah, just
a Fresca. Can I get a what was that soda that's just never coming back? Oh, I can't remember now.
Tab.
A knee high or
Tab. Yeah, tab. That's a good one. That's in that group.
RC.
Josta. Was that one? Josta?
I know there's Shasta.
There was Shasta.
Jolt.
That was a good off-brand. Don't give her a jolt.
She might die.
There was also a Josta, and if that's not the most fucking like 1990s soda brand with the like black just like panther on top of the label and like
just get a Fanta, right? Just get a big fruity Fanta.
It was marketed as a high energy drink, and it
course.
included guarana and caffeine.
Of course.
It's
I
a
recognize
proto
that now
energy
that I've
drink.
looked it up. It's from the same time as when there was OK Cola. I don't know if anybody else remembers OK Cola.
Clear Pepsi. You have clear Pepsi.
Oh yeah, Crystal Pepsi or whatever.
Yeah, Crystal Pepsi. There it is. Thank you.
That's dangerous. That stuff's dangerous. I tasted that shit. I was like, man, this tastes like the 80s. That's why everybody has cancer now.
It's not
Um,
even
Soda
being-
from the
just,
80s.
just being in the same state where it's made gives you cancer.
It's like the Nuka Cola from Fallout. Like, you know, it glows under a certain type of light, and you're like, that's not healthy. I
No.
shouldn't have any of that.
Yeah. So we have two people who are headed to check out the dinghy still.
Yep.
And I do want to point out that we have not used the Gold Crown Mysteries move, which is the once per game when any Maven says, "This reminds me of something that happened to Amanda Delacourt." Work with the other players to describe something that is happening in the situation that reminds the Mavens of an event from one of the Gold Crown mysteries. There's some pieces of information you have to provide, but after that, whatever next roll would be is a 12. But you can't use it for theorize. So you can use it day move, you can use it night move, you can use it investigating, but you can't use it for do we have the right answer?
Right.
So just mentioning that's out there too.
So I got to ask you a question real quick. Can I theorize that this is? Am I in a place occupied by the rich and famous?
Yes.
Okay, good. Then I would very much like to use that because I've been wanting to use my Frank Colombo power, and this is my first chance to be in a space occupied by the rich and famous.
I'm just pulling that one up.
So
Okay.
I get an additional clue even on a miss, and if we get a 12 plus, then it's
you get 2 void clues. Okay.
Yeah. So my acid flashbacks may make another appearance.
I see more animated tattoos. Like, what's going on here?
Man, those are rough.
Yeah. No, this is no good. And okay, so I'm gonna look through this Gold Crown mystery because it feels like we're getting near the end of our investigation. Is that right? This is kind of our last.
I think this is starting to reach the end of collecting clues. Like, you're starting to stack up like a bunch of positives. So it's probably like we finish collecting clues, we take a break, we come back, and we have like the whole like, I think it was this, and I think it was this, and the clues all connect because, and then we roll theorize. So.
Okay. So once per game, when any Maven. Okay, gotcha. All right, so Irene and I are headed to this boat, and there's some other like there's some other well-to-do folk in the marine as well, leaving their boats headed in. Folks going out to their boats because they're done for dinner.
There's a lot of like past middle-aged gentlemen in like pressed white slacks with like a blue blazer and like the ascot kind of thing. Like that's the look around here. Like this.
Right. Yeah, and the instant read of like, oh, these two, we're not even in the same stratosphere of these little jet setters, as they like to think of themselves as, right? So yeah, Francis is definitely flying under the radar, and is probably not getting a lot of glances as we sally up to this dinghy, and would speak over to Irene that this reminds me of something that happened to Amanda Delacourt. Do you remember the novel? Oh gosh, we'll call it the Blue Oasis, which was the name of the boat in the novel. When she had to make her way on the ship as if she were waitstaff. Do you remember?
Yes, exactly. And they obscured the view as much as they possibly could. And I'm going to look to see if there is. I assume the marina is. We're at like a far end, so it's not super well lit up, but I imagine there is a nearby, like a nearby spotlight sort of thing. That would have just clicked on with dusk falling. So the light bulb's still going to be quite cool. And just like Amanda Delacourt had to sort of subtly sneak on, I think at that point she used foliage to kind of obscure her visage. As she put a tree in between herself and people who might see. I'm going to use some little natural lighting, and then I'm going to unscrew the light bulb just enough, since it's still quite cool, since it only just turned on, so that way there's not direct light on the dinghy.
Nice.
Awesome. And with that, I will.
I'm going to unscrew the light bulb all the way and drop it in the water.
Oh, nice. That's a problem for maintenance. those they're tall ladders and their strong arms will come and fix this later.
Exactly. Going to cause a little trouble for the marina.
Yeah.
They've been running their lights on, and we've been telling them that the young kids in the coffee shop were all talking about how they really need to update their lighting system because they're using all old stuff that wastes so much energy power. Maybe we can convince them to convert over to some LEDs. So I do want to undermine. Exactly. I want to undermine the authority of the local marina just a tiny bit.
You wouldn't have to replace these bulbs if they were LEDs.
Yep. A little bit of eco-terrorists.
Yeah, they wouldn't just fall out into the ocean if they were LEDs. Like that's
yeah. The whole system needs to be updated.
That's right.
So good. But yeah, exactly. So that way, we can sneak on, and we're also less likely to be recognized now.
Yep. And I would very much like to use my my composure to open whatever door or move whatever plank over onto the moving vessel, unlock it, get us access to the dinghy so that we can, have a quick look around.
Yeah, I mean it's not enclosed. It's like open air on the top. A lot of the other ones are like just inflatables with like wooden boards that kind of slot into like vault space.
Okay, yeah,
this one is like a little bit bigger and fancier than that. Like it is like a solid, sort of smallish boat with like a motor on the back too.
Then I would
be getting in out with.
It's open top.
But there is like some enclosed storage on it that like you could be like, oh,
I would like to do that.
Pop this to get into it.
Already on the boat, checking compartments, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, perfect. Yeah. So it's looking for a smuggler's box kind of deal. So I am going to use my my X-Acto knife and my glass pallets and all that kind of stuff to try and jimmy one of these locks.
Okay. Yeah, since you've got the whole like whatever you do here is a 12 anyway. So it's just you do the meddling move and you just
I don't need to do the thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, whoa.
You're good.
Yeah, Amanda Delacourt had to do this thing and we do like exactly the same thing, and now I can get right over here and like, yeah, there's a storage space here and it's unlocked, and like, oh yeah, it's unlocked. The top layer of it is all like life preserver vests, right? Like
right.
We're not gonna fall in the water and die off the dinghy. But like farther down, there's like a box in it, and then there's like other stuff that like fell down or something like that. So we get to pick out like, yeah, you get that combined with your Columbo move is you get 2 clues and 2 void clues.
Do you see that squid? Do you see that squid man standing off there? He looks to be about 40 feet tall, coming towards the dinghy.
Yeah. Why is my brain melting?
I think that one thing that you do find is there are stock certificates. Like there's like one of those metal toolboxes with like the latch handle on top that like opens up. And in the bottom of that, there is an envelope that has stock certificates.
Okay.
And that also in there Like maybe it's one of the ones like a tackle box where like it opens out into the layer underneath, and then there's a section in the bottom that's there. And down there is like one of those really little like Beretta pistols with
Like a
that's
little
like
like a little
it's pretty shiny.
Derringer or like
It's
a
it's maybe yay long. It's got a
Yeah.
little like pearl handle on it. It's pretty nice, pretty shiny silver. Um, it's like the rich person's version of like when James Bond would have the like little tiny pistol.
mhm.
Oh, it's one of those little. It's a little pocketbook pistol, like
Yeah.
like you said, like a Derringer. The
Right.
Beretta's
As you
most
would say,
expensive.
it's a small handgun like you might keep in a purse.
Or a purse.
So
Okay.
let me write those down here. I remember them.
Awesome.
And then we'll get to like the good part. Small handgun like you might keep
And
in a
you know, painter's
purse.
gloves. I'm not touching that pistol, but it is going into a bag for fingerprint analysis at a later date.
And the stock certificate's in a strange hiding place. Oops, that's not the thing. Check that one off. And then at first, oh wait, sorry. I have a different, slightly modified background for void things are happening. There we go. Okay. So at first you think you hear off in the distance like the sound of like a repetitive machine or like something like that, like kind of making noise. Uh, at first, it sounds like the growling, repetitive noise of some machine. As you kind of like cock your ear to the side and like listen a little more closely, you realize it's the sound of chanting coming from farther down, away from the beach.
Mm.
So I will document that one.
Like inland from the beach.
Um,
When you say away from the beach, is it like oceanside?
the beach is the direction towards like where Cape Cod meets the rest of Massachusetts,
Right.
right? So you'd go from Massachusetts out the Cape to Brindlewood Bay. You'd pass the beach, then you would hit the marina, and this is like the far side, farther out from
Oh,
the
okay.
beach.
Okay, so there's beach, marina, and then further on, I'm hearing some kind of chanting,
Yes,
and it's like
like that's
guttural.
where
It
there's
sounds
like
like
rougher terrain along the coastline there. There's like more rocky type stuff out that direction. But yes, it starts out sounding almost like it's like some sort of like repetitive growling machine. Um, but it does eventually start to sound like wait, that's chant. Those are voices chanting something.
uh, um, cool. Yeah, Francis is going to look to Irene at some point, and say, "Do you hear those party goers? They must be chanting something."
Mighty odd party goes by the sound of it, certainly.
Hmm.
Sounds almost religious, if I didn't know any better.
That seems strange. I don't know of any holidays around this time.
And
No,
then there's
nothing that
one
I can
more
think of.
void clue that I will hold off because I think I know how to get that one in there in a way that will work
Okay,
in a couple minutes.
cool.
Um, but yeah, so that's what you find, and then Irene, you're poking around the dinghy too. So what happens there?
I did a little, just a little, uh, little chaos, stirring up a little trouble for the local Marina Watch. I think what I'm going to do is, so we've kind of dug through all those clues in there. I think I will. I'm going to do a little bit of reasoning, I think. I want to try to get a grasp, looking at where the dinghy is, looking at where the piling is.
Mhm.
I want to see exactly how far he would have had to go in order to hit that pylon, especially at that speed and from that direction of his head. So I'm going to try to like do the beautiful mind thing. I want to see like angles and trajectories.
Cool.
The man who hurled him was absolutely gigantic.
Yes.
Oh, hang on. I got to move the decimal place. And then the silhouette of the guy just shrinks down to a normal.
Or 3 kids in a trench coat. I don't know.
So I think this will probably.
He did have 3 kids.
Yeah.
He did have 3 kids. And an enormous trench coat. So I will be looking for the enormous trench coat.
Comically sized trench coat.
Now, I have a question, because people been using the Maven moves and I'm feeling the itch.
Yes.
I have a my Maven move is the Fox Mulder move, which is I tell the keeper that the thresholds for each layer of the Dark Conspiracy are reduced by 1 void clue. But then that one doesn't say once per mystery, so I assume that's just kind of a thing that happens because I chose this move. Well, that's probably why only one person can have it. But once per mystery, I can have a secret meeting with an informant connected to the Dark Conspiracy. They're shrouded in darkness and unidentifiable. I describe what the scene looks like. The conversation happens off screen, and then I get a bonus to my next die roll equal to the number of void clues discovered during the relevant mystery. Can't be used to theorize. Yeah, so at the moment, we're sitting pretty at 3 named void clues and 1 void clue that is yet to be revealed.
Yes.
Do it.
And what I wondered is, can I have this meeting happen prior to this event? Can we have like a little flashback scene?
Yeah.
So that way it's like, and then there's something where it's all starting to come together. You mentioned the stocks, and you're like, there's a gun here, and stocks, and what is all that? So I would like to. That's all turning my head while I'm looking at this scene, and
you're recalling the conversation you had.
I want to. So I think it probably wouldn't have been this morning because it hasn't been long, but it would have been yesterday. I was doing my usual thing. I was in coffee cup number 6 because it was a slow day. Just chatting with the kids. And,
cup number 6. So it had to be 11 a.m. by then, right?
It was just gone 11.
I like how you like hit a resonance with your coffee. That's how you like.
I have a steady buzz, and at that point, it's sip of coffee, sip of bang, sip of coffee, sip of bang, all throughout the day, just to keep it steady. Like I said, resting heart rate's at like 60 beats a minute, so she's cool as a cucumber. The coffee.
How did she ever stop drinking the coffee? She's just dead. Like the coffee is the thing keeping her alive.
That's what's keeping her going. But there was definitely a moment where I was sitting in the coffee shop and I looked out the window, and I would see the right across the street in the park. I see just a person sitting there, and they're not out of place. They're not in like a black suit. They're in like a gray suit. What stands out is the fact that they are distinctly normal looking. Like they don't stand out so much that they stand out to someone who's keeping an eye out for them. These are the types of people that Irene would usually look out for, and then we'd like, okay, so I know there's somebody here who wants to kill somebody else. But it would lead me to, get up, take my to-go cup outside, and then just have a sit in the park bench next to them. And I assume they're like reading a newspaper and that sort of thing. So I don't actually see. Yeah. I don't actually see what they look like. Can't even really tell, what sort of form they have, because they're just,
It might be like, you just see them over there with the newspaper when you go over there and you sit down, like it is this person who you do know.
Yeah, and so, at that point it would be like, oh yeah, no, I recognize.
That's.
I couldn't tell you what
of
it
course,
sounds like.
That's why you drew my attention without drawing anybody's attention, and then I came here. Of course, it's you. Yes.
Exactly.
I went on a little bit of a spree of putting pictures of like different actors into NPCs in Legend Keeper, and I did make one named Mr. Z because it's like you have to have this like connection.
Oh,
And I
well, that's
grabbed
perfect.
Mike Ehrmantraut from Better Call Saul.
Mhm.
He was, so it's like kind of like the guy who was like he was always there to like kind of set people straight without like being like the big like mysterious dude necessarily, and like
Yeah.
that kind of like yeah, this is the
Mhm.
person who's gonna be there with like just gonna fold up my newspaper. You know what's going on. I'm not gonna crap around on you here, but you know
Mhm.
that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. That's exactly what I was imagining.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, so he's out there and you get to go and you get to sit down and like the move works by like rolling up to that point where like you meet and sit down to start the conversation and then like that
Yep.
like just clicks to black and it's like you just
Yep.
get the outcome. Like
Yeah.
what you talk about, what happens, we don't know. But you got something from it
Exactly.
though.
Exactly. So we definitely had a conversation. There were some sneaky things. There are some clues that are only now clicking into place. It's one of those things. It's like follow the money kind of things, which
Yeah.
don't make sense until we're in the scene. So do I get, when I make my next roll, am I getting a +3 for the 3 void moves that we've identified, or do I maybe get that cheeky little fourth
You
void
can
that
have the
we're
fourth one
keeping secret?
because
Okay.
it's a thing. I just haven't given it to you yet.
Okay. And I think I'm going to try to reason. And like, I kind of want to get, I want to, like I said, beautiful mind, I want to mind palace a little bit to see like how would an event like this play out in this scene. I know what the murder weapon is, it's piling and physics. And I know where the murder scene is, and I know the victim, and I know the probable suspects. So it's like just kind of, I want to put everything together. In the forefront of my brain, while the back half of my brain is like, all right, how is this mystery working? And I think that's where the mysterious conspirator is kind of helping me there. Is like the back half of my brain is also working on shit. So we're gonna roll with reason. So that's a +1, +4, so +5 total. Come on, good dice rolls. I want to max out.
Yeah.
I practically did. Okay, so I rolled a natural 10, so that is 15 in total.
You
All right.
did good. You
So
did
yeah,
good.
you get a clue and you get a void clue.
I haven't
So
experienced
you're
any void clues yet. I've only
I know,
gotten
right?
like
This should be
I've,
secondhand
good.
I've
void
been
clues,
hoarding them. I
except for
don't mean to hoard them. I don't want to hoard them. They're
I
disturbing.
think
I want that
yes,
extra.
as you're there and you're searching around the piling,
Mhm.
kind of stuck in like because it's like you have a square space because you're building out of wood, and then there's like the round piling, and there's like that little kind of like corner edge
Yeah.
that wedged into there. You only kind of like get a look at it when you're like get in real close and kind of look straight down. But there's a glint of metal, and you pull it out, and it's a Rolex. Um,
Mhm.
and it is to my beloved Albert on our 26th wedding anniversary. Um, love Amanda. Except it's a Rolex. It's a super fancy watch. It does like
Mhm.
that constant movement. It doesn't like tick every
Yeah.
second. It's like the real smooth motion around the whole thing.
Mhm.
Um, but the time on it is wrong.
Yep. Yes, it is.
It is set like
Lose.
3.5 hours past. It's like it doesn't sync up to being like a different time zone. It doesn't sync up to like it's not like he was trying to keep track of California because it's not. That'd be 3 hours, not 3.5. Like what? It's
Yeah.
something else on it.
Mhm.
So that is a regular clue, a wristwatch set to the wrong time.
It's still working. It's still humming
Yes,
along.
it is still it's humming along, doing the like super smooth. I'm a Rolex expensive thing. I think the other thing, the void clue, is actually like when Mr. Z left the other day, he left his paper sitting there. And of course you picked it up. And inside the paper, there was a page torn out of a book. And it was a sort of a yellowing page that came out of like it probably has like, there's a page number on it and probably like the title of like some sort of like a history of towns of Cape Cod. Um, but it says in the summer of 1877, the crew of the whaler Deep Reaver set out from Brindlewood Bay. They returned with the strangest whale anyone had ever seen. It had tentacle-like legs and rows of oily black eyes. They sold its parts to buyers all over the world, and the proceeds were used to turn Brindlewood Bay into what it is today.
I love it.
The classic miraculous catch. Love to see it.
Why does it have to be a fish thing?
It's
Why?
Cthulhu. It's
But
Cape
why?
Cod.
It's-
That's all they do is fish.
Fish. Why did it have to be fish?
It's always leviathans and squids. It's over and over again.
I'm gonna have to rewrite my werewolf game.
Oh no.
Oh no!
It's always fish with us. We need something new.
Might
The
I
oceans,
suggest-
man, there's nobody knows what's down there. Could
I
be
know.
anything. That's why you don't trust it. But yeah,
Porpoises,
you get
make yours
those.
porpoises.
Yes, do that. Um,
Perfect.
yeah. So there's clues, there's void clues, there's many clues in void clues. I'm gonna take a moment here to write down this other one for like regular clues because we have stock certificates in a strange place. We have a wristwatch set to the wrong time. Right, we have an attempt to collect debt. We have an expensive diamond earring. We have a sequence of numbers written on a slip of paper. Documents called into question. Well enough to move. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 clues.
You know what? We just like finding clues, Mike.
I think we need to find another dozen or so more clues.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fun.
We
We
want- we
have
wanna
10
solve
clues,
it.
and we never interviewed most of the family.
You know, what'd be great is if we got enough clues to solve not only this mystery, but the next mystery you come up with. Which just we didn't even
These
know.
are- These are leftover clues. These are
That's
clues
so
we
weird.
haven't
That
used yet.
murder hadn't even happened yet.
Yeah.
And we solved it.
Pre-crime, baby. We're going full on.
You get to
Crime,
wear
social-
leotards and float in a tub. It's great. It's a great
Yes.
job. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's relaxing. Sure, your fingers get all pruny, but like besides that,
Whatever. All your needs are met.
yeah, I think like we can kind of like have people like reconvene at that like outskirts table at the restaurant. Where I think Mavis, you're
Were
still
they
there.
still there? Like, were they? Because we had kind of cut when they were still talking in front of
I
Mavis.
think Amanda Krause took the daughter away,
Okay.
right? But like they left Mavis sitting at the table.
See, this is the part where we figure out what happened and then just go say a bunch of bullshit to them in the middle of this restaurant, and then everything is solved and better.
And better.
Yeah.
I like you add that.
Yeah, well, I
Better.
mean, yeah, you just say a bunch of things to them and then they confess. That's how Murder, She Wrote works. You just say innocuous things and they confess to you, and then you say, "Ha, I made all that shit up."
Yeah.
Because that's not
Yeah.
entrapment.
Very Perry Mason. If you just ask enough pointed questions, eventually they'll freak out and say, "Yes, I did it, and I do it again." And
Yes.
then the judge bangs the gavel.
Almost we don't want so many clues because I think part of the deal is we have to like work all the clues in, right? So
Oh, I can
Yeah.
mad lib this mystery. Don't worry.
So I think the last thing there is to come back to here is like everybody can come back together at that table on the outskirts. Mavis is there, and everybody collects there, and I think if you don't mind me like dictating things that Mavis has done, Mavis has ordered like a dish from the kitchen because she's
Yeah.
like I gotta fit in, right? Like
Like, yeah, I'm at this table, and I think she also ordered drinks for everybody before they even got there.
it would be rude for you not to give business to the establishment. You're already
Right.
taking their seat,
Mhm.
so you need to go ahead and get the special.
That's absolutely, and she's totally not like looking over at the dinghy the whole time that you guys are on there. Just
Yeah.
like, well,
You've turned
like
the
they're having
chair so
fun.
that it faces.
yeah, just
So I think the dish has come, and Mavis is like ready to like maybe even taken a few bites already, and it is like one of those things where like they bring you like the whole fish, and as you kind of sit down and collect around the table, Francis, you see the dish that's there on the table, and the fish kind of like lifts up and looks at you, and you just hear "Fight," and like it lays back down.
Do we all see that, or just
No,
yeah, that's a good question.
what kind of fish is it though? Like, is it an oily, gross fish?
Cod. Am I never eating cod
scrod.
again?
There's a lot of
What
scrod.
fish is
Cod?
Francis never eating again, Mike? What is the fish that Francis can't eat
Oh.
now that she's seen it talk to her?
It was sea bass. I don't know why they had sea
bass?
bass. We're here on Cape
Not
Cod. You
really
think it would be
bass.
cod,
It's
but like,
so
yeah,
common.
sea bass.
No. All right.
Well, it's
fair
so
enough.
common, but it's also like
Well,
it's supposed to be
is it-
terrible for the
Is
environment.
it
and, like, the actual sea
traumatizing,
bass pond.
or is it traumatizing, or as the fish lifts up towards you, we just see Francis's face and there's just stars drifting around and like across the universe
Hold
starts
on, I
playing in
have
the
to make-
background?
I have to make this note. We'll never eat sea bass again.
It's Billy Bass. That's just a Billy Bass. Comes to find out, Mavis just accidentally bumped a little button at the bottom of the plate, and then she just got up and started talking.
That's big mouse bass.
Big mouth bass, yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
That's river bass, not sea bass.
Take me to the river. Yes, whatever was it you said.
Stop it.
It's fine. It's fine. This is
So,
my
yeah.
new dismissive hand gesture. It's fine.
Yeah. So Francis kind of looks at it and like her face just falls.
Mavis
And-
takes a bite.
And she has this like little panicked expression as she watches like the
stop.
flesh leave this living creature and go to Mavis's mouth. And she kind of looks on in horror, like, why would she consume something that was still alive? That's not Mavis. And then she'll just kind of mutter to herself, I need a drink. And then
There's one
she'll
right in
kind
front of you, Francis.
of bigger one. And she
Francis.
like waves to the waiter, and when he comes over, she'll touch his arm, his upper arm, and kind of give it a little squeeze, and say, would you, young man, would you be a dear and get me something a little bit more adult?
A little more adult than straight Everclear. I don't. Yeah.
Stop, Mike. Don't
Like,
say
yeah,
that, Mike.
sorry.
There is
Yeah,
nothing
yes, no,
wrong
he
with my
does.
Arnold Palmer, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mavis
like,
is
yeah,
just like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I got you whiskey neat, but I guess if you need something stronger, that's fine. And-
Stop it, you two. Stop it.
Yes.
It's Everclear, but also the waiter doesn't have a shirt when he comes back. So
Woo!
I still got it. Yes.
a
That's what I
little more
wanted.
adult.
Still got it. Yeah. He will take your order and go off to fetch you another drink. And that's I think that's where things kind of fade to black for the commercial break before we have the putting pins in the map and putting all these connections together. Then we wander over to the bar and we make our accusations, right? And then they all just own up to it in the
Yeah.
middle of public, I guess.
Own up and go
that's
to
how it
jail.
works. Cool.
before other people
So what-
start digging into drinks and things, I am going to say that I know what Opal was doing, and so I am going to go into my purse and I'm going to my little handbag, and I'm going to give wet wipes.
Oh, so
And-
I didn't get to say it, but before I went and came to Mavis, I went and washed up.
Okay.
We're not going to get some
I'm
drinks.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of just perfume as well. Just
Thank you. Yeah.
take care of yourself a little bit.
Mhm.
Take care of yourself a little bit.
I'm prepared for this situation. Thank you.
Was that last thing
I
a
know,
void
but-
clue as well?
Yeah.
God,
Yes.
I hope so.
So we're up to 5.
No, that was a normal.
That was a normal clue.
That's-
The fish.
That's the kind of thing that
looking at
happens
one of
every day.
us.
Yes, we're up to 5 void clues.
Yes.
We have actually
What's gonna
already
happen?
triggered things off of the dark conspiracy sheet, so
Ooh.
we're moving along quick here.
Yep.
Exciting.
We're gonna get eaten by Cthulhu before we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Praise him.
Wouldn't it be the first time? Am I right?
Session
Who could
3.
have done
Is
Killed
that
by
For a
remembering
couple of
past
us-
lover?
For a couple of us in here, we've already been traumatized by a Cthulhu-like thing.
Who could have done that?
Could have been anybody. Nobody knows. So we can take our break here, and then when we come back, we can start playing with like the whole theorize and like solving the mystery and stuff like that. See how
I'll
that
get a
actually
cork
plays
board.
out.
And then
Yes.
eventually we'll get to that second mystery that was supposed to be introduced.
Later. This one was juicy. Got to do this
It
one.
was too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta finish this one.
So we're gonna take a 10-minute break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds
We'll
good.
be back 6,
5 past.
7-ish.
About 5
minutes
past, yeah.
After the hour. Yeah.
Something like that.
Awesome.
But yeah, we'll be back sometime. Eventually, probably. We'll see everybody then.
See y'all soon.
Cool.
How are you?
Showing trading dice.
And then you see him
T-shirt.
wince as soon as he says it too. That's the best part. That's yeah.
Oh.
Yes. So we had gone on break after everybody had like met back up at like one of these outskirt tables at this fancy restaurant in the marina. Having collected a multitude of clues. And a lot more void clues than is probably expected at this point into the campaign. But that's cool. We're just gonna like bring that dark conspiracy just right into it. Just lean right in. Yes. So the other day, Albert Krause washed up in Brindlewood Bay. His family was on his boat. They said he got drunk and fell in. In the process of your investigations, you haven't discovered there was an attempt to collect debt. There's an expensive diamond earring, its mate missing. A sequence of numbers written on a slip of paper that Albert had been involved in a taboo love affair. A blood-soaked rug. Documents that call into question the paternity of one of his children. Instructions to cut someone out of a will. A small handgun like you might keep in a purse. I love that that's like part of the description. It's not just a small handgun like you might keep in a purse. Stock certificates in a strange hiding place. And a wristwatch set to the wrong time. So yeah, now's the part in the game where I think we start to unravel this mystery and figure out what we think actually happened here.
Have an open and I think it's an open and freewheeling discussion about.
Yes, let me find the move. When the Mavens have an open, freewheeling discussion about the solution to a mystery based on the clues they have uncovered and reach a consensus, roll plus the number of clues found, not including void clues, minus the mystery's complexity. Right now, you are at +4 for that roll when everything gets added and subtracted out at the end, which is pretty
So we have
good.
a net 4, right?
Yes.
Yes.
6.
It's
okay.
minus 6 plus 10. So
Yeah, I just
plus 4,
make sure I
So we have
understood.
to at least get a partial success. We just have to roll anything but a 2.
Yeah.
And a 2 is the lowest thing we can roll.
Okay.
you would have to
But
roll.
if-
Yeah, if you roll anything above snake eyes, you will at least have found the correct solution.
Yeah.
There may be complications, but
Sure. Can't work with the
Black
chair
clothed
anymore.
man, black mask, black gloves, brick.
Okay.
Right.
So are we at the table still? Like, let's can
Mhm.
we set a scene?
Yeah, I think
Or
we're all
middle
sitting
school?
around. We're trading notes about the solve, right? And then once we all agree on what it is, then we roll.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Well,
So, all right, Andy, you've been.
oh,
you've been
I'll put
talking up
out
your
the other
game.
thing I found so that the rest of the Mavens know.
Yeah, likewise. And I think that in the void clue front, I will have shared that I heard chanting on from
Oh yeah.
on the other side of the marina,
Yeah.
and that I had seen earlier when I was taken out of sorts, it was because I thought I had seen our meal move, um, and I now know that's not true, but there was a moment there where I was quite confused.
Why, that kind of thing could certainly never happen, but it's still definitely etched into your brain. Like,
Right.
Mhm. I would have also shared the. I wouldn't at first. I would have waited because I always wait. Very low resting heart rate. I'm here for a long time, not a good time. And so once people had started sharing their clues, that's when I would have then pulled out, oh, well, this was something that it's funny you mentioning odd goings on because I found this loose piece of paper in the bookstore a while, just the other day, talking about some of the odd history of this town. It's funny, maybe Brindlewood Bay is more special than we realize. I'm going to kind of incorporate that as an interesting piece of evidence, not related to this case, but interesting.
Yeah.
Well, of course it's special. It has the 4th largest lighthouse in the state.
Mm-hmm.
hang on, I gotta write that down.
Built off the proceeds of the sale of this gargantuan fish.
The whale with tentacle-like legs.
I don't like that this
As
says
whales do.
legs. I don't like the tentacle part. I'm okay with the legs part. The tentacle-like legs. That's whales don't need legs. So what are we gonna do about poor Mr.
That's one of their
Krause?
defining features.
Well, on the dinghy we found
We have an interesting collection of.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, we did track down some interesting things that even things that even puzzle me. I must say, there are some unusual things on this.
The normally unpuzzleable Irene.
I have some theories, but I open it to the floor.
Well, it certainly seems that money was an important factor.
These
We've
folks
got-
are hardly surprised, right?
Stock certificates, people being written out of wills, paternity mysteries, or blackmail of that nature. Seems like somebody wants as few slices in this pie of inheritance as possible.
Well, if there's a call to question about the youngest, let me pull up my notes real quick. Sorry,
Emily.
They're calling to question Emma's relationship to her father. That also puts their mother in the crosshairs of this scandal. So it could only be the eldest daughter that would stand to benefit from this untimely death.
And we know Mr. Krause liked to have some exotic encounters, so that sort of leads me to believe that maybe there are other paternity or even maternity issues in this family.
But
I
why?
met David.
But why kill the butler?
Maybe he found out. Maybe he saw something he wasn't supposed to see.
Weren't there instructions to remove was it David from the will? I mean, maybe the butler was meant to execute those and was killed before he could.
Well, so maybe David's the killer, having stopped the butler before he could be removed from the will.
Yeah, but...
I think something else of note that we must keep in mind is that the butler and the father weren't necessarily killed for the same reasons or with the same purpose.
Sure.
Particularly since we aren't clear on the time of death of either.
Oh, but we have a
Or
watch
the
with a
cause.
time that's off, right?
The butler was this afternoon.
The butler was this afternoon.
Because he died like
He died
In-
here on the dock after they had docked that dinghy
Gotcha.
today. Yeah.
I do have one potential theory that we might be looking at.
Well, let's hear it.
The butler himself has no clear connection to anything that we know of. He's merely the butler. And therefore, looking at that, why would he die? Except for two reasons. One, he witnessed something, which is always possible. Or two, he was involved in a way that we don't realize. Now, all those people being on that boat, if something went amiss, as we suspect with Albert, then I think it's fair to assume that it would have been seen by at least some of the people there. Now, we don't know who the parent is of the youngest, who this mysterious, assuming it is true, who the mysterious father is.
Or who's sending the
However.
blackmail messages.
Precisely. However, as it stands, children are being written out of the will for some unknown reason. And the father then mysteriously dies before that can happen. I can't help but wonder, and I don't want to be too direct here, whether or not this loyal butler may have in fact been loyal not to Albert, but to his wife instead. If you get my drift.
so
The pearl clutch.
And we know which of the children were in fact true, and what's in a family name, but which the
We know
true Krauses.
hearsay. We know hearsay.
But is it possible the butler, being a man with children who will benefit from the death of Mr. Krause, and perhaps having children who were on the brink of being discovered, would instead choose to hasten the removal of that obstacle, thus granting his children the opportunity of money, which by right of time spent in the family, if not of birth, they deserve. Perhaps.
So you're saying the butler did it, but he's dead.
I am saying the butler did it, and I do think the butler may have killed Mr. Krause as a way of distracting from the potential discovery of the true paternity of some of the Krause children, if not all the Krause children. But the butler himself is dead, as you rightfully said.
Who killed the butler?
done.
Do we know how long the Krauses have been married?
Someone
Not
was just
based
said
on
about
the Rolex.
26. Okay.
Right. Not based on
The Rolex was from their 26th anniversary. I know the stuff talking about like when he had when Etienne Beauregard worked for him and he was like doing business stuff in Thailand when he had that affair. I think we said that was like sometime in the early 90s.
That doesn't help me with the fake time that it is right now. I want to know how
Yes.
old the kids are. Was actually
Oh,
generally what I was trying to get to.
the youngest kid was graduated from high school, but not old enough to drink. So she is like maybe a sophomore in college, something like that.
Mhm.
Um, the son is older. He's probably late 20s. Um, the older daughter is one of the things that the sheriff had said about like one of the reasons she was sort of trying to get him to allow the Krauses to leave is she has 3 kids and her husband back in Boston that she's separated from while all this is going on. And then there's Mrs. Krause, who is an older woman as well. Probably still like 15, 20 years younger than most anybody in the group here, but
Well, one child that hasn't been mentioned is the oldest. It's possible that she found out about, or the rumors finally circulated too closely that her father's infidelity, potentially her mother's infidelity, and she could have gotten irate and did the unthinkable. And perhaps the butler saw something he shouldn't have, and it was taken care of.
Was she the one that pushed the butler?
I think she may
Perhaps,
have killed both of them. Potentially.
Hmm.
But what would she would only have something to gain from her brother being written out of the will. So I don't.
Or both the
Why would
children
she-
being written out of the will if they
Right,
were.
so why would she? Why would
Is-
she stop David from being written out of the will?
Well, maybe
just
that
real
was
quick,
different.
Was the instructions for writing David out of the will that was found on the butler?
It's
Right.
not in the garbage. I
I
thought.
think that was in the trash.
Okay, that was found in the trash. Okay, so we don't know. Maybe those have been executed. Maybe that's been done.
Yes.
Stock certificates on the dinghy, and the small handgun, and the wristwatch set to the wrong time.
No one was shot, to our knowledge. The butler that we saw didn't have any gun wounds. The Albert wasn't. When you all got to look at the body, you didn't see any gunshot wounds, did you?
Even with
Yeah.
a head wound that big, who knows what actually hit him first?
The gun could be a red herring.
It's true. I think out of character we can decide if the gun has been used or not, right, Mike?
Yeah, like the only clue is just that there is the presence of a small handgun that is like the kind of thing that you could keep concealed easily.
Right. So
Um,
we could open it, count the bullets, and decide for ourselves there's a bullet missing or there are no bullets missing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe just to keep from like I think a gunshot would be like reported, right? Like somebody would have heard that at some point, especially if it happened
definitely.
like on the
At
way
sea.
to the marina or even
Yeah.
depend. So I think maybe it's unfired to be a little spicy.
Okay.
That would make sense.
Cool.
And that keeps us from having to incorporate like 10 things into our thing.
Yeah.
We can just be like, those things, we just found them. You know, it's fine.
Can I develop on one of the clues to sort of make sense of it, where it factors in?
I think that's the point. Yeah.
Okay. In that case,
Go for it.
looking over our collection of clues, I'm going to take the sequence of numbers written on the slip of paper, and I'm going to take out my cell phone, and I'm going to check first that it has international calling minutes on it, and then I'm going to type in the list of numbers, because the reason the sequence of numbers looks odd is because it's not an American phone number. It's a European phone number. And I hazard a guess, and I think I'll find that I'm correct when I reach, well, it's dusk, so that means it's just the opening time. In Europe, we'd be hitting, if we're saying it's like, by this point, probably 9.
Europe or Asia?
It's some, that's the thing. I'm thinking, oh, that's a good
If
point.
it goes to Thailand.
Yeah, right now it'd be Asia would be waking up and Europe would be asleep.
Like middle
Oh,
of
Europe
it.
is okay.
But
So, yeah,
if
that
you
would-
call now and you get a
Hmm.
groggy voice,
We'll know where we're calling to.
yeah.
I think when I call, I'd forgotten about the Asia element. I think when I called, the phone number would put me in touch with it would definitely connect me with a small business in Thailand, an international business located there, which, from what I gather, is it's a very similar business to what Albert Krause was running, but it's run by an older woman, and it's sort of an established business. And I'll just sort of ask, because they, it's international, it's used to international calls. The number itself is probably the international number as opposed to the local number. And just to find out a little more information. And, I just propose that, oh, yes, no, I'm interested in, do we know what Albert Krause did as a job?
It was something to do with like import export. So it's like
Import,
yeah,
exactly. So
yeah.
it's definitely local import export.
And that was
money,
over in Boston that he did that, right? Like that's where
Mm.
that's where this business and all that kind of stuff is at.
Exactly.
And then we look at the stock certificates, and they're for this small Thai business.
Exactly. Which also handles import and export. Import and export, which would thus mean, I theorize, that this is the business that Albert Krause set up overseas with his own money. He was wealthy. He has a wealthy yacht, and he has a lot of debts. And what he was doing, what he must have done, was take money from European loans and then put it into stocks in the US, and also put it into founding that Thai business and building it up. And it's run by his mistress, the woman he had an affair with and formed a second family with in Bangkok. I think we'll find that it's what Albert was doing was not simply, oh, he was a rich man who was killed for his money, but he had his own sort of insider trading operation going, where he founded the business and then purchased stock in the business, all on loaned money. Thus meaning he had funds, he had substantial amounts of money, but he also had substantial debts. But because his money was all tied up in different areas, it was hidden away. So that way they couldn't find out and target the specific areas where his funds were.
I think Mavis would also pull out the diamond earring that she found in like the lining of Albert's suit coat and say, I think whoever killed it was this. And kind of put that out on the table. Which, unless David has very good taste in earrings, I think that narrows it down.
I'll just say, if you had interviewed David, I was going to have him be like David from Schitt's Creek, but that's anyway. Who would have very good taste in earrings?
I think we have a collection of things. So we're currently looking at the eldest Krause being potentially even the legitimate Krause who could step in and inherit. And the butler knew too much.
Do we want to say it is the eldest daughter or the wife? I think we just pick one at this point.
I think it's the eldest daughter.
Okay.
I
Who's
agree.
just
I think
yeah, very upset.
Sweet. Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. It's just like the show.
I'm not entirely ruling out the possibility that the butler was the father, but
The father of Emily.
Yeah.
And
at
maybe
least as
David.
Emily.
Mhm.
I suspect both Emily and David. There's a significant age gap between the eldest and the other two.
It's the part where we find out the
Krause's
eldest
trouble.
daughter is like very obviously half Asian. It's like, how did we overlook this?
The voice that answers the phone and when you call the company in Thailand is like a younger man who's like, his voice sounds a lot like Albert's. I forget.
Yeah.
So odd.
It's got a very Boston accent.
Yeah, what do you want?
It's
like,
Park the
Is
car
this
in
Thailand?
Bangkok Yard.
With a tiny bit of tag along.
yeah. So
What's
I
it?
think it's time to
Hello in Thailand is supposed to be Sawadee, like with a Boston accent. Sawadee.
Sawadee.
Yeah, that's like,
Stop.
chowder.
Oh my
Sorry.
god.
All right.
Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't
Folks, you
mean to
didn't
cut
know,
off
but you
there.
came here for hearing Thai words in Boston accents.
Got you covered.
This is where we're at.
All right.
So,
So what happens now?
roll, I think, right?
Yeah, so
Accuse.
if that's the theory, then we roll theorize, where we roll.
all right. And
We
we're saying
have
that,
reached a consensus. We believe that the eldest daughter killed him
right.
after trying to get the son taken out of the will and prove that the youngest daughter was not actually his child,
right.
to try to funnel more of the money directly to the eldest daughter. Right? Like cut out the number of
Yes.
cuts in the pie, and mom will get money, and the eldest daughter will do it. And there was also some aspect in there of like maybe people finding out about that, his Thai family, you know. And because the butler had hid some of that information, that
Yeah.
the butler got caught in the crossfire as well.
And I think
That-
the one
does that-
thing I'm going to put one thing in there is that I'm not sure Mum was going to inherit any of the money either, because we have an unfired handgun. And I'm not entirely certain that we have maybe potentially also foiled the plot to remove the last member of the Krause family who would stand between Sarah and sole inheritance.
Oh.
If we're right, there's a scene where she definitely goes for the box, but the gun's not there.
Nice. Okay. Yes, definitely. Then who
Looking
wants
for
to
this
be in charge of
beer,
rolling
I pull
dice?
out of my
Yeah.
like purse with all my paint supplies. Perfect. Okay, good.
Who's gonna roll it?
What do we do? How many dice do we roll? I believe?
It
2d6
is
plus 4.
2d6 plus 4.
I got this. 2d6 plus 4.
Are
Come on,
you gonna
Google.
let a computer do this?
What do you mean? Am I gonna let a computer do it? Because it
I'm
has done it.
insulted. I'm
It has
insulted.
done it.
Is a computer gonna let you do this?
Yeah, it's Google. It's not just a computer. All right. It is
That's
It
all
is
worse.
the Google.
It is
Yeah.
all the
Computers.
computational power of the entire internet has just been used to create this dice roll. We got a 12.
Is that before
Is
or
that
after
with
the plus
4 or after?
No, that's with the +4. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's still it's 12 plus is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I very briefly used all of the computing power of the entire internet to roll these
To roll us
2d6
a
plus
win.
4.
Analog would have got us the same thing.
I don't know.
I mean, I just rolled it. It was an 8. So at least I would have got us the same thing.
All right, fair enough. You're,
I'm on par with
little-
Google.
You're
That's what I'm trying to say.
Uh,
I have the
rolled
same
two better.
random
I
number
don't want
generating
to
power.
brag, but yeah.
I have
so
the
yes.
same power to generate numbers randomly.
my little RNG boxes that I just hurled at my desk.
Bust out the math rocks. Get crazy. Yeah. Yes. So we have found the correct solution. The mother. All the surviving members of the family are here in the restaurant right now, and probably Sheriff Dalrymple is here because he was talking with them after the death of the butler. So
Oh, yeah,
there's
he's,
an
like, still
opportunity for you to be
interviewing them.
here,
And since he's still interviewing them, we
and
can,
people who were around like the dock when it happened and that kind of stuff. So you can like go over to like the table that's over there, and like you can have the whole like what we think happened was, he had been to Thailand and had this other thing, and then the thing, and then the butler and the daughter and the thing, and proving the paternity test.
No, it's the. I think there's a part where we say something that's wrong, that like makes the person who actually did it like speak up. It can be like, oh yeah, Emily, the paternity test results are back, and Albert was in fact your father. It's great. And then Sarah's like, it couldn't be the deal. It's like, how do you know? Oh no. Or no.
Precisely.
Well, one of our three, talkers has to go and, or at least David or Andy has to go.
Yeah, you're gonna tag team it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna sit over here and drink my Arnold Palmer and watch you guys do it.
I think like you said, there is that moment where like there's the point where Sarah probably speaks up to kind of like yes and something that turns out to be like, well, yes, but actually we were lying about that, and here's the proof that we were lying about that, but of course you knew we were lying about that because it was you all along, and like she'll kind of glower, and then there's like you said, there's the moment where like she shoves Sheriff Dalrymple down to the floor because he's Wilford Brimley, right? Like,
Yeah.
He's there. It's been late. He's like, I gotta get home. Can the bartender give me an orange juice because I gotta keep the blood sugar up. Yeah. But she shoves him down and like does make a break for the dinghy.
Yeah, and possibly even we would have at that point like I'm gonna say that in addition to kind of taking the gun away, we've also like made sure that when we left the dinghy, I made sure to tie it up with an extra rope that I sort of dangled in the water. So that way you didn't see that the rope was still attached, but there was an extra rope holding the dinghy to the dock as well.
Yes. I think she, like, you get there as she's like frantically like tossing all the life preservers out of that storage compartment in the middle and like realizing the gun isn't there. So she like tries to like gun that little like two piston engine to try like gotta get back to the boat because I'm gonna outrun law enforcement in a sailboat. That's the thing that happens, I guess.
All she needs to get is
but she'll be
international
like,
waters, right? And that's her goal. Is international waters where you can evade all things.
all consequences stop at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do see as she like that line that's like draped underneath that has like more slack to it. Like she like guns it and lets go of the motor, and the motor stops, but she like falls face first in the middle of the boat.
I think this entire time, Frances has been flirting with the waiter who keeps bringing her drinks. And when the scene begins, Frances says, "Stay close. There's something I'll need from you." Right. And as the daughter is like trying to race the boat away, she tells this like strapping young man to like reach down and pull the rope to pull the boat back onto the dock.
Yes.
Using his big man arms.
Is Francis the whole time just kind of like little squeezes on the biceps?
Right,
That is amazing.
Nothing so overt and inappropriate, but definitely gives it like a nice little like, good job. on the shoulders, like, good job, little squeeze. my little Atlas, bringing the world in. Thank you so much.
Then Mavis yelling at the distance, "I never took you for a fan of Ayn Rand." But I guess that makes sense.
I just like the titillating parts, okay?
Okay.
Irene will stand by.
You gotta really read into it deep. But between those lines,
There's nothing more tantalizing than Atlas Shrugged.
Ooh.
It's
oh my god.
okay.
Jagos, do the thing. Jagos, do the thing.
Yep. So, yes, I was going to say Irene will definitely be there to kind of stand by as the sheriff pulls Sarah out of the boat and puts the cuffs on. And I will be holding. I will have taken the gun from Francis, and I'll be holding it like evidence, but also kind of like holding the bag, but also like kind of holding it on the hand.
Oh, like
Just
through
in
the
case.
bag, you've got the gun in your hand.
Yes, through the bag.
Look, it's a gun.
And every criminal in the world is like, why didn't I think of this? Just keep the gun in the bag.
It even gets like the black powder.
Yeah.
Like that keeps
You
the
know,
powder
it's,
in.
I know how
What?
these things work.
Just
Oh,
put
no,
it.
what?
Just get you a little Ziploc. You know you got 30 of them at home. Shoot your gun through a Ziploc.
Oh my god.
You don't have to keep track of spent shells. It's perfect.
Stay in the bag.
You stay in the back.
They may melt a hole. Come on, that's
I was about to
It's
say.
the perfect crime.
I was about to say.
this is even better than the whole like stab somebody with an icicle thing.
There's gonna be somebody out there. There's gotta be a YouTube video of somebody being like, "Look, the Ziploc bag trick is the way to do," and you just watch it like get obliterated, right? Because like the first shot has got
Expanding
to destroy
gas
the entire
is
bag,
going to blow the
destroys the
entire
whole
apart.
bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Irene would know that, and so she has vented a little bit in the top.
You definitely confuse a lab tech by doing that though. Like it wouldn't get you off the hook, but you would confuse the forensics team when they're like, the black powder just went straight up. Like there's a smudge on the ceiling. Like none under the fingernails, but there's a smudge on the ceiling. What?
And then you got like the one old one who's like, "Oh, we got another bagger."
Last time I saw this was 1983.
Irene, what are you doing?
The Ziploc killer, and he would go around town shooting people out of a Ziploc bag. It took us months to figure it out. Turns out he's a disgruntled employee of Tupperware, trying to ruin the good name of Ziploc.
Oh my god.
That's the mystery I need to be on.
Yeah. I mean, where's our Tupperware party based murder mystery?
So, I do think we did then get the solving for the next murder mystery, which I presume was going to be Ziploc based.
Yes. Yep.
Did it.
But there's definitely a satisfying moment where it is the four of us on the marina watching Sarah be put into the back of the police car.
Got the paddy wagon.
Yes. I think as
You'll
you're
talk
there,
to my lawyer.
I only did it because I loved him so much, right? Like, yeah.
Mhm.
There is a
Sorry.
moment while you're there, that like
Daddy's dead.
one of the people who was there at that rowdy party of dudes,
Mm.
is an older gentleman who does come over, and eventually you probably will recognize him after a point where he will be like, "Oh, what you did was great. Thank you so much for what you've done for the town." And he's actually like the deputy mayor.
Mm.
Like, what you've done here was very impressive. It's been, you've done great service for the town. And, the people I'm associated with will be keeping an eye on you.
Did he just try to
You,
like recruit us to the Avengers or something?
Or did he
I am
threaten
go-
us?
He
I'm
had
not
one eye
sure.
patch. He had an eye patch. He has
My
blood.
nephew
I
loves those
flying
movies.
aircraft here.
I will pat him on the arm and say, "You do that, sweetie," and then walk away.
Cool.
And then all at separate times we leave. Don't go in the same direction as the no.
Wipe things down. We take our fake old person makeup off, and we all escape on separate dinghies.
Ocean's 14. Who
Yeah.
knew?
I'm Brad Pitt.
There's
No.
there's a-
We know you're not Brad Pitt,
Is
because
it-
if you were Brad Pitt, every scene you would have been eating something.
Eating something.
That's
I was drinking. I was drinking in almost every scene.
This is true.
It was
Being
soup.
an alcoholic is
he
not
was
the same thing.
He was
Dang it! So
technically
I'm one of the
eating it with
stupid
soup.
twins that made the remote control crap. Oh, good stuff. So, okay, um,
Now what?
did we? Okay, what's our relationship with the sheriff? Because I feel like we've missed some moments where we had to like bring the sheriff up to speed
Nah.
in like a way
It's
that didn't get
fine.
us arrested for breaking onto a dinghy, tampering with a bunch of evidence.
None of that matters in this world. This is
Yeah.
this is
Jessica
the murder
Fletcher
she wrote
is-
style
never
world.
gets in trouble.
A non-law enforcement individual discovered evidence without a warrant, but it is deemed appropriate and legal for proving guilt and charging someone with a crime. Like,
Okay.
that's
You
Well,
don't
they-
need a warrant if somebody puts all the evidence on a table in front of you.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
That's
fair.
just the evidence
Even-
is just there.
even if it is like you found that evidence in the wild and we're just like pawing at it, like with no gloves and stuff, like, oh, this brass button that's lying on the ground is certainly distinctive. Let me pick it up and carry it around in my pocket, right? Like, that's admissible evidence for some reason.
Okay, good. Um,
Small town law enforcement.
all right.
I was going to say the sheriff is also the judge, and
Good. I just wanted to make sure that we had done that part and kept our relationship with the sheriff okay.
Yeah, none of that matters here.
Okay.
This is
Sorry,
alternate
I'm
universe.
so sorry. I was way behind the curve on this one, guys.
Law enforcement procedures. Fuck it.
See, that's why everybody else was like, all right, I'm gonna go binge Burger Jiro.
Right.
Yep.
That's where you learn, like, yeah, there's no rules to this.
there's no rule. I already
Okay.
worked at undermining local officials, but I could undermine just a little bit more by texting. The reason the police were there to arrest was because I did text the deputy, who's this young up-and-coming woman deputy, who I would like to see be sheriff, very much so. And so I am going to keep her in the loop.
Oh, nice. Plenty little kingmaker. I like it. So she gets the solve.
So she gets the song.
Yeah, then we have solved the mystery. Nobody put on a crown, so we don't have to do any crown scenes. I can, if you want to go a little bit longer, I can give you the chance to, if you wanted to do like the cozy move, or that it would actually work out at the beginning of next time if you wanted to.
I think cozy. I'd like to spend some time in cozy because,
Yeah.
like I have spent a lot of time with Irene. Irene and and Francis spent a lot of time together, which is awesome. But I want to let us have some time with some of the others.
Renegade buddies.
Yeah, that's right. We're like, I fought the law and I won.
Our playlist is entirely Rage Against the Machine and Beastie Boys.
And then like some vaudeville, right? Because we gotta
Vaudeville?
right.
And Fortunate Son, but that's only when we're in the mood.
You cannot cross the streams, Andy.
You
Go
can't
back
play
to
that
the-
song if that song's playing. It means you're in Vietnam, though, right? That's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime that song starts, you're immediately in Vietnam.
Whenever we need
That's how
flashbacks.
Albert Krause got over to Thailand so fast. Took a shortcut to Vietnam by just putting on some CCR. He just he's transported.
Then get in a little speedboat and just zip right over.
Yeah.
Right there.
I mean, it's gotta be way faster than taking a plane the whole way if you can just listen to CCR and just be halfway there, if not more than halfway. I'm not really sure where Vietnam is in relation to Thailand. Probably pretty close, if I had to guess.
it's
like a
somewhere.
peninsula over. It's like one peninsula.
I have
over.
Yeah.
American public education. I know that's Asia.
Wow.
I have a big frick off atlas over there, so we can sort of-
Yeah,
You know,
so
I have
Vietnam-
the
guys-
power of Google.
Yeah, Vietnam.
Yeah,
is,
No,
Well,
I'm
if you want to
sorry.
have an
Cambodia,
answer,
Thailand.
come
Sorry,
on.
Oh,
David
they're
Rowe.
actually very close.
Yeah,
they're extremely
like
close.
on the same peninsula.
Let me just
David
take
already used up all the Google power rolling 2 dice.
Yeah, see,
I'll just take
it
a-
took us time to get to the Google search of the map because it was still cooling down from my awesome die roll earlier.
See, I could take a little holiday in Cambodia on my way over to Thailand.
Yeah, have fun with that.
I think Mike got my reference.
Oh, I got your reference real solid. Yeah. Mhm. Right here, close to the heart. That's yeah.
See, it's gonna be disappointing when you realize that I only know that song from Guitar Hero. That's
I'll
when I
take
get.
it.
That's
Mike's.
I take my wins where I can get them. I know better than to expect too much. Yeah, so let's check all those end of session hits for everybody then.
Okay.
So yeah, everybody gets an XP because we did hit the you always check
Sweet.
this one. You completed a mystery. Go
Yay.
Mystery Mavens!
Yes.
We have completed Dad Overboard.
Okay, so we completed the murder mystery. For my, I think, secretly undermining the authority of a local official, I attempted to do 3 separate times. The first time was eco-terrorism on the marina with the light bulbs.
With throwing away a light bulb. I love that one the most. Please take it for that. Don't list anything else. I know you put in work. I don't care. Throwing away one light bulb.
That's the best way to get XP.
This is just to
be
fuck
it.
the man. I litter to stick it to the government. That's-
Fuck the man in lipstick and just tossed it.
Wow.
And then I folded up the tissue that I used to unscrew it, and I threw the tissue away in the trash.
As you should.
I'm
Because
principled, I'm
there's-
not a monster.
There's an XP there. Yeah. Right. Go on.
70% of pollution comes from 10 companies. This light bulb doesn't mean shit. Just toss it in the ocean.
It's a message. And then for the second one, I did try to dote on someone, and that was me trying to dote on Opal after the trash dump with the wet wipes and then
Oh,
the
yes.
perfume.
I love that the version of doting is clean yourself up too. You're a mess.
Look a bit of a mess.
It did turn out
You
initially. I
smell
was
like
no, it's-
trash, dear. Yeah. Like,
Initially, it was
smell
nice.
like
It was
garbage.
like, here, I'm gonna give you a wet wipe. Your hands are probably messy. Here, have wet wipes so you can eat some food.
Spritz
And then
some
Heather was like,
perfume.
oh no, Opal already washed herself up. So I'm like, well, fine then.
Have a spritz of perfume because you
Sorry.
smell like shit then. Whatever. I'm doting. I'm trying to be
smell like
Perfume
someone
wholesome.
who's-
shop since in the perfume shop since your ass want to act trash.
Sorry.
So that would be my second and third experience points.
Yep.
Total,
That's
which would put me at 5
Sweet.
total because I got my first 2.
excellent. Yeah, then you'll get to pick an advancement
Oh my god.
and reset it back to 0.
Yes.
Mine was, did you share a memory of a late family member? And yes, I did. Cousin Billy.
Cousin, yeah.
Cousin Billy.
Ate too much cake.
Too much
Marie
cake and
Antoinette
got
the lake.
got a cramp.
Yeah.
And then my other one was, did you behave like a woman half your age? I don't think
You
so.
dug through a dumpster.
You were like dumpster diving, right? Like that's
like
Okay. I mean,
with the immune system of like an 80-year-old, you went dumpster diving. So like that's
You also did carry that rug off just to be like, I'm taking this for evidence.
gotta have evidence.
How
Which
are you
deserve-
on your tetanus and hep vaccines?
Always up on it. Always up.
We'll do saving throws for that at the beginning of next session.
Thank you.
You deserve
Saving
the experience
throws.
points. The experience points just for the visual of Mavis sitting down and talking to like, oh, how did your father die? And oh, what's that paternity test you're looking at? And then you're in the background just
Got a rug.
with the whole carpet.
Yes. Okay.
For my XP, I had share your wisdom with a young person, which I think, blood relations don't mean anything. Your father's your father kind of deal. I would like to count that. And then show someone that you still got it. I conversated 2 people into information they shouldn't have given me, and I feel like that's it. I feel like that's something that I've got.
It also
I don't
helps that you
know.
kind of
Yeah.
deliberately drew on your past when in order to
like-
ingratiate yourself with Emily is like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm still your cool English teacher.
Yeah, I totally
Who's
covered
your
for
real
you when
dad?
you're underage drinking.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
covering for
that's
her
the
was
one.
I thought covering
covering
for
one
her
is a
was
good
a
one, too.
solid like. I'm
Nice.
still cool. I'm still the cool grandma.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm cool. You want some weed?
Hey, you're not in high school anymore. I can just give you weed. Wow.
Yeah.
Used to, you had to like buy it from me. That's
I bought this in 1979.
That was almost
I
the end of the
remember the-
keyboard. All right. That's,
I
I think-
remember the first weed I saw of you.
I think Francis needs to get an XP just for acid flashbacks. Like, I don't know if that's a trigger, but I think it should be.
Yeah, a few.
Still got it.
Still got no. Yeah, I definitely.
yeah. What were Francis's triggers then?
My trigger was secretly undermining authority of local officials, right? Breaking and entering onto the dinghy and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, the marina is like this is fancy people property, and you were
Right.
like
I'm
just
not supposed
waltzed
to be
right
here.
in, just messing around with stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then show someone that you still got it. I think all my getting the waiter to be our strapping lad pulling the boat back in.
Yeah, I don't know why, but this waiter in my mind, he was just Chris Hemsworth from the Ghostbusters movie where they were all women.
Yes.
He
Please,
absolutely,
yes, please.
and it's never addressed in the episode how they got Chris Hemsworth to come in and play one character for one scene,
Yes.
but it's him.
Yes. Exactly.
And it's now canon that every single mystery we have will have one very brief 10 to 15 second scene of an A-list actor.
That's canon.
That's
Can I pick that as my new Maven?
Yes. You get one
Start writing new
A-lister
Maven movies.
every mystery.
And then for the DuckTales one that just finished the Kickstarter, you get like an A-list voice actor for every
Yes.
episode to play a duck.
Yeah.
Like here's George Clooney as a duck on Disney Channel.
Yes.
Mhm. But it's like the old Arthur ones where you can tell who it is, like it's barely animalified. So it's like George Clooney, but he looks like he's just wearing a fake bill. Like it's mostly just George Clooney.
It's just,
Like even the animation is like really accurate George Clooney with a duck bill.
Yes.
Yep.
He did mocap and everything. Like
I can't wait for the Brindlewood Bay episode where we get Matthew McConaughey.
yes.
Because
it'll-
the amount of times that just a random Texan gentleman with a giant like 10-gallon hat shows up on Murder, She Wrote in just one season is more than I would have expected.
Yeah.
It's like at least 5 at this point. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Is there any room for like a ScarJo, like Scarlett Johansson in the Murder She Wrote, like the like young, incredibly capable.
Absolutely, a niece or daughter.
I was gonna say one of
Yeah.
the things from Murder She Wrote is definitely a thing is like there are like dozens of nieces and nephews involved.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
like there's
that's why I took the no kids route, because I'm like, there's just a legion of nieces and nephews waiting for me to discover and play.
Grady.
Yeah,
Just straight up, you get Grady. Like,
yeah. It's like, oh, surprise! I have a nephew who works for a film studio, and I also have a nephew who like works for Long John Silver's, but not like a
Yes.
fast food seafood company. Like,
Yes.
and one who's an accountant to like anything relevant in New York at the time. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Just- oh, he switched jobs. He's not at the publisher that I'm suddenly published by. He's at
Right. He's over at KPMG or whatever firm I need.
he's doing the books for this off-Broadway play with the famous actress. Yeah.
that show's a work of art. It's just a fucking
It's-
work of art.
It is wild, yes. Available
love
on
it.
Amazon Prime or IMDb TV or whatever the hell they call it, kids. So check it
So-
out.
So what do I do with 5 experience points?
With 5 experience points, Mike opens up the PDF of the character sheet so he can see what it actually says. Because he tried to put it into Legend Keeper.
Oh, increases ability by 1?
Yes, it's under end of session. You can tick off one of 2, increase an ability modifier by 1. One of 2, choose an additional Maven move, or unmark all items, which I think
I
Does
don't
the
think
on-
we've used any.
no, we
Well,
haven't.
you-
I think David might have used one,
Mm.
I used
but
one last session.
that's it. Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
painting
and-
trowel and
Yeah,
tools.
I
that could be
almost
used as
used
lockpicks.
another one, and then Mike, you thankfully talked me out of it because I was already
Mhm.
going to get the 12. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to load it up when that was not appropriate.
Yeah, and then whatever advancement you pick, you can just delete off the sheet because you can only take it once.
Oh,
Mhm.
So you can increase an ability modifier by +1 twice
ooh,
ever. Take an additional Maven move twice ever, and like get all your checked off gear back.
once.
Yeah.
And then you're done.
Otherwise, when you do the cozy move, you can uncheck specific items.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
it's
So
just kind
okay.
of like
So like
emergency.
after like what is this 25 XP? That's it. Character is advanced. That's epic. That's epic.
Yeah,
That's
you're
that's
not
max
going to
level.
earn new advancements anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
your
end
Maven
game
can
character.
wild shape an infinite number of times per day. Um, Rages no longer exhaust
Cast
you.
wish, whatever I want.
Yeah.
You have 4 attacks around.
Now, that's the
it.
occult. That's the occult move.
Oh
Yeah.
It's a different one. It's not
You
tied
can
to
just
advancements.
Void
counter
myself.
spell anything you like.
Yep.
Eventually, I'll stop counterspelling your healing. Yeah, that's that kind of thing.
I saw that on Reddit. I was like, that dude is mean.
That is
That's a
terrible.
mean
I
GM.
love it. Like, yeah.
That is a mean
Um,
GM.
Yeah, just to say, in that case, I'm going to, since I reached 5, I'm going to take increase in ability modifier by 1. I'm going to use that to level out my sensitivity. So I'm going to say I'm starting to do some of my own thinking. I'm starting to think a little bit.
There's certainly
That,
some attunement to like the
Mhm.
strange things that have gone on in Brindlewood Bay in their history here that we've now
Yeah,
I
know
think
about.
I think that'd be good for
Yeah.
Francis too, unless you had other plans. Because
I
like
did-
Francis had some serious acid flashbacks.
I
this session.
that it would be a good move. I kind of hope Francis keeps a negative sensitivity so that it all is just acid flashbacks.
That's also
Like I said, it's just various songs from the 60s and 70s that we just gradually DMCA throughout the course of the season. Each time you see, you're like, we're seeing Cthulhu for the big final boss battle, and you're just like, oh, that's really weird. I really should stop drinking.
Yes.
I haven't seen shit like this since the summer of '69. Like
That's
that's
right. That's right.
something.
That's right. I knew.
Look,
I knew
one
that-
time at Studio
Also a
54,
really good
it was
song.
kind of like that, but never.
Yes. That's funny. Yeah, I'll have to figure out what to do with my 5 XP. Thank you. Now I understand what end game character is supposed to look like.
Not much different than the
Ability-
beginning game
Yeah,
was.
that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I like it.
You get more Maven moves though, which can
Right.
those are pretty.
That's
I'm
powerful.
I'm still eyeing up the one which gives you bonus XP for executing extrajudicial punishment.
that's very Irene
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm kicking that one around. I might save that for next
I
level.
don't know if we need extra XP. You know,
Hmm.
like
I think we need. I definitely need
It is a good early one.
I need an opportunity to cobble some shit together into a fantastical gadget because I
right.
feel like
Oh
like
yeah.
we just cracked this one open. Whoever did this, Sarah did a really bad job at murder because we just
Well, we
figured
did- we
that
did a
shit
lot
out
of-
in, like
Yeah.
Rookie
There
moves.
was a lot of
Rookie moves.
figuring this one out from investigating other things that pointed towards something, and no
Yeah.
like investigating no interviewing the people involved,
Right.
yeah,
which
and like we accomplished that
Yeah.
in like 4 hours.
I
Like
think.
you know,
I think.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
we-
we do. None of us have like a lot of presence, right? Like I think one of us has presence 1.
yeah, I have 0.
Yeah, so it's like talking to people maybe isn't our strong suit, but breaking and entering, a little bit of
Opal
reason.
loves talking to people.
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. Opal is more than happy to talk to just
It
anyone.
just happened that the person to talk to was like
What's Mavis?
somebody that Mavis directly knew is the reason that Opal didn't talk to people this session.
Yeah.
But last session she talked to Mr. Beauregard. A good
Did.
Mr. Beauregard, who definitely didn't factor into this at all and never will.
And
was
we'll
an
never
obstacle.
see him
That-
again.
Wait,
He was an obstacle to get
fish-
to the body.
the fish seller was a red herring. I'm gonna just take away the level I earned.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
take
man.
1 psychic damage.
Yes. Permanent. All right. So I feel like we've wrapped then. We've given out the cookies.
Mhm.
Mike, is there anything else that we need
yes.
to handle for the thing?
There's nothing else that we need to handle for this thing. I was originally tempted to do on next week's episode and like little flashes of things to come.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But we've actually gone from so there's a whole bunch of individual mysteries, right? And some of those mysteries have prerequisites for you need to have done this mystery, you need to have X number of void clues that have affected something else, you need to have something here. And in the course of tonight, we've now unlocked access to more of those options. More of those things now fit into the nature of the campaign because we've crossed a threshold with void clues, and our threshold to cross for advancing things in that kind of angle of the game, the dark underbelly of Brindlewood Bay, the tourist town, is lowered. So that's
You're welcome.
Kind of fittingly, we're able to hit that
what's actually going on side of the game a little
For
bit
sure.
faster, since we were kind of trying to time box the campaign to a certain length. So that actually kind of works out. But that's not something that I printed out, was any of those
Oh,
mysteries.
good.
So
So
I don't
next-
necessarily know what starts next week.
Yeah, well,
since I got
next
to
week
figure
will
out
be
what's
cozy
allowed.
places, right? We're gonna get to.
Yeah.
Uh,
There will be a mystery that will start. Which one, I am not sure yet, so I can't try to, put the little
I ca-
teaser on the end of the episode.
I kind of like the end of the episode being, see, we've had some weird stuff happen, but the final scene was so climactic of the accusations and the shouting and then the running and then the attempted escape and then pulling them back in and arresting them, that by this point the audience has kind of forgotten all the weird stuff that happened. And so the end of the scene is just kind of us sinking down, we see the Mavens walking away, and then it sort of dramatically slips, the camera slips beneath the waves, and we see from the light, we see maybe the light bulb still drifting down, and as it drifts past, we would just see a bit of a shadow and make some hanging tentacles go past the camera lens. So that way it still reminds people something's weird's going on, and we're going to get to that. But also we won't get to it because the next mission is going to be all cozy.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
there's something weird going on. We want it to be very much like something odd's happening, and you're not going to figure out what it is until later.
That's right. Till it's too late.
This season on Brindlewood Bay, and it's like more teasers from farther out. Actually, yeah.
Yes.
The number of times I've been surprised by the end of an episode of Murder, She Wrote is astronomical, because it'll be like the person confesses, credits. That's it. No debrief. No nothing.
always-
Just, that's right, I did it. And, you know, then Jessica Fletcher, she looks so disappointed because she wanted so much more for this individual, and then the screen fades. And that's
But that disappointment is actually our disappointment to not being fed the down, like the post
right.
post climax, like down feed of a story.
Yeah.
The downslope after the climax.
Yeah, that's, oh man, work of art. We circle back to work of art.
That's right. Well, excellent. So folks, we are going to be back with this next Wednesday, doing our cozy time together, which is going to be great. And then between here and then, we have been confirmed Friday. We're going to take off Friday. Our GM needs some time, which is awesome. We want him to have all the time he needs. And then Saturday we're going to play Aegon, run by Ethan. It's going to be awesome. And on Monday, Heather, we're going to be playing some more Shadowrun. We have characters made and all that good stuff, so that's going to be pretty dope too.
Yep.
And yeah, and we're back here on Wednesday for more Mavens, Marvelous Mavens, doing our thing. It's going to be so good. Thank you all for showing up. We are going to raid Cave Geek Art. This will be the first time we raided him in a while, where he's actually working on like a hand-drawn map, like a leather map. The last few times we raided him, he's been doing everything via like Photoshop or whatever. This is cool to see him like actually do real leather working. So we're going to go over and give Cave Geek Art a nice little raid here. I think that'll put us out on the end. So everybody, let's all go and hang out with him, toss some emojis in chat, give him some love, all that good stuff, and watch the amazing creations that he's putting together. With all that said, as always, have fun and play well.
May all your rolls be crits.